All right. Looks like we got started here. Make sure everybody can see and hear me before I actually get into any content here. There we go. What's going on, y'all? Looks like we got a few guys already in here. Luis, Josh, DJ October, John, Matt. How are y'all doing today? That's awesome to see you guys here already. Sweet. Looks like it's working. Y'all can hear me and everything. See me fine. Oh, Chad's in the house too. Wow. What a day. It's going to be fun. And I haven't talked to myself like in this regard ever. So it should be fun. Did, of course, prepare a lot of stuff for us to go through today. Mainly just going through all the Q&A stuff that y'all left on my community posts. So that's going to be the main idea. Talk with y'all here for a second, and then we'll get into that content. After that, I'll just take live questions for a while. I do have to have a hard stop at 5. Hopefully be done a little bit before that, but we shall see about that. My gosh, got so many people here. Honorog, chess streamer, John, both Johns. Awesome. Jorge, George, whatever you go by, John, Jeffrey. Man, look at y'all. Got a good amount of folks already in here. It's awesome. Stan's in the house too. Wow. This is crazy. Mojo's here. Sweet, guys. This is awesome. I'm so happy to have y'all here. As y'all know, obviously this is for the milestone that we hit together of getting 5,000 subscribers. That's no small feat. So once again, just have to say off the bat that I really appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all being here in the first place. It's a live stream, and I know a lot of people are really busy. So just to take some time and hang out with me today is pretty awesome. So I appreciate y'all. Tim, what's going on? Look at all these guys in here. Awesome. Cool, guys. Well, happy Saturday. Looks like the comments are still flowing in. I think we got a good amount of folks here. I want to go ahead and jump in, like I said, to the actual content. Basically just going to be going through y'all's Q&A questions. That's the whole idea here today. So I'm going to start with those. Like I said, let's go ahead and just share this first of all. So I did create like a little slideshow here just so y'all can, see some actual content on the screen too and not just be my face the whole time. But yeah, as y'all can see, 5,000 subscriber Q&A. Again, just have to say thank y'all so much for the support. Thank y'all for being here. It's like Chuck just joined as well. Awesome. What's up, y'all? But we're going to go ahead and just get started with some ground rules for what I'm going to be going through today. And basically what I've accumulated so far is 23 different questions that y'all left on, the 3 or 4 community posts I posted about this live stream. So we're going to go through those for about an hour or so. Hopefully I can get it in under an hour, but I'm sure I'll be talking for a lot longer than that, and it's going to end up extending. But like I said, I do kind of have a hard stop here in a couple of hours. So we go into a concert tonight with my girlfriend, so that'll be fun. But do have to end this a little bit early because of that. What's up, guys? We still got people joining. Chuck, Marcus. That's awesome. John, I appreciate that, man. I love Daniel. I'm glad you found me off of his channel. Me and him are becoming better friends through YouTube, and I just love the community that we're building here. So it's cool to see y'all coming from different channels as well. But yeah, so like I was saying, we have 23 questions I'll be going through. I have the slides here that'll be showing y'all that, and then I'll be taking just any live questions that y'all have after that for about 30 minutes to an hour. And then, of course, after that, this full live stream is going to be going on my live stream shelf on my channel. So that's going to be where y'all can watch the full thing if you did miss it. But I'm also going to be cutting this into an actual video, and I'll probably upload it like as a midweek video in a week or two, probably. Yeah, it might be a couple weeks. Got some really fun stuff coming up in the next couple weeks. So that's going to be, the main push is getting that stuff out. But I do want this to be on my channel as well for those that couldn't make it. So I'm going to try to edit this one as quick as I can as well. What's up, Elijah? Juan? Let's go. Mojo, we're going to the band is called Goth Babe. I don't know. It's my girlfriend really likes them. They've got some good music. I'm just going because her friend couldn't make it. But yeah, it should be a good time. Cool, y'all. Well, let's go ahead and just get started with this. I did just take these questions in order that they came in. So, depending on when you ask the question in my community post, you'll be able to see that as I go through it. Also, probably have Odin pop in here and there, my special guest at the end of all of my videos. But he's out currently in the living room, and my roommate's not here, so I'll get this whole place to myself for a little bit. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and jump into it. Once again, thank you to everybody who joined. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. 50 people in here. Wow, that's awesome. Wow. Okay. All right. Like I said, let's go ahead and jump it off with just question number 1 here. This one came from Bimmer1. Sorry. I'm not sure how you want to say that, but his question was just, what drives you? It's a very, simple question, but I think it's one that's super important. This is something that I think about constantly, of course, because, I think drive is super important in getting to where you want to go in life. So this question actually speaks a lot to me now because of the recent changes I've been going through with my job and everything like that. But yeah, just to answer your question straight up front, when it comes to like the work side of things, I think what drives me mainly is just like freedom and autonomy. I really like to have control over my time, and my goal really for this whole year is just to kind of separate my time from how much money I can possibly make, if that makes sense. I think that's a really big thing that a lot of people are kind of trying to do these days, and it's something that I've taken to heart with this YouTube channel. I started this as a complete hobby, and I just knew that I loved being a part of this community just as a viewer, like as a ghost viewer too. I never commented on any videos or anything like that. But after a while, I realized that, this is something I'm super passionate about, and I wanted to document my journey for y'all. And that's basically what this whole channel is about, just documentation. And looks like Anthony just joined. What's up, Anthony? Looks like we got Chuck asking some questions in here. Like I said earlier, I will get to those questions later. But yeah, as for what drives me, specifically with my YouTube channel, and this is now my main focus, and I'm going to be, approaching the questions mainly with this in mind. But it's really just detaching my time from how much money I can make. I went to school as a civil engineer, graduated with a civil engineering degree, and I do think that work is very valuable, and I really enjoyed it while I was doing it. But I just knew that something within this YouTube space that I found just as a hobby was super special, and it's brought me a lot of purpose and fulfillment. And I think I just love being a part of this community in general, like I've said multiple times already, because look at all the people that are in here. I mean, it's awesome. So that's kind of what drives me internally, is just finding that autonomy and that freedom of my time so I can spend time doing what I really love to do, which is this YouTube channel, spending time with my girlfriend, with my dog, with my family. And that's really what mainly drives me. So that was a great first question, nice and deep, starting off quick. But I think the next question here, it does come from Caesar. And of course, if y'all don't know Caesar by now, I mean, he's in like everybody's comment section. It's always great to see him. And yeah, his question is a credit card related question. So for those of y'all that want to hear that, here you go. But he asked me, what are my credit card regrets? And yeah, that's a question that obviously y'all saw the title and thumbnail for this too. I think that's one that a lot of people are kind of interested in, because regrets in the credit card game are real. I just got started a couple of years ago, like heavily into the credit card game. So I'm still like in that process of building out my credit card foundation. And with that being said, I don't think I necessarily have any massive regrets. Now, of course, I'm not trying to clickbait y'all by putting that title and thumbnail, but I do think that there are really important things to consider whenever you're getting started in the credit card game, or whenever you're a little bit further on and you're getting a few more cards started under your belt. It's really easy to get to a point where you do regret some of the cards that you've added. So this question, I think, is really relevant. To answer my specific case, the only situation in which I would quote unquote regret the card that I got, and this is like, it's not even a regret, it's just like if I could have, zoomed forward 6 months or whatever, maybe I would have done it differently. And that'd probably be my Amex Blue Business Plus card. And that might shock y'all, because the Blue Business Plus is just a card that everybody can get value from. It's a no annual fee card that gives you 2x back on every purchase. And that's why it's like, I can't actually regret getting this card. But the reason I say that is because I did apply for this card as a sole proprietor, and that was before I started an LLC for my YouTube channel, which is now my business. So in that way, I kind of regretted adding this one when I did, because I could have waited and added it as, under my LLC's name. And the reason that is like even slightly important is because Amex does have the 5 credit card limit rule, if you want to call it that, where you can only have 5 of their credit card products. And that doesn't apply to their charge cards like the gold and platinum cards, but it does apply to their credit card products that have a credit limit. And, there's also stipulation out there, like you can maybe get up to 6 cards, or maybe start getting denied at 4. So it's kind of, up to, it's a little bit of a subjective rule from what I can tell. But technically, if I wanted to keep all of my expenses separate and I wanted to do, everything under my LLC, then I should have applied for this card under that LLC, and not that way I don't have to take up a second slot in that 5 credit card limit for another BBP. But I'm not necessarily worried about that by any means. Looks like Chad's got some regrets going. Okay, watching at work. Love to hear that. yeah, just don't tell your manager. I'll try to keep it down over here. Yeah, Chad, I'd be interested to hear just anybody in general, what kind of regrets y'all have in the credit card game. I think it's always important, just leave those down below for people that can watch and kind of understand where they don't want to go wrong. But yeah, I feel like once you're in the credit card game for a while, like I said at the beginning of this question, I feel like you start to accumulate a little bit more regret, if that makes any sense, if you're just like going for it. But for me, I'm still building out that core credit card foundation, and there's not really anything I could regret yet. I feel like I went about it in a pretty, beneficial way for me. So I can't complain about that. But yeah, that's awesome. Look at all these people joining. I regret not starting at 18. Ramon, yeah, that's actually not a bad question. I mean, or not a bad answer. I didn't get started in the credit card game until I was like, I guess I was 21, 20. I'm 23 now. I wasn't added as an authorized user or anything. That'd actually be one thing. If I knew about the credit card game earlier and I knew my parents were responsible with credit cards, I think it's really important to get added as soon as you can, so you can start building that credit history and skip all of those secured or student card steps. I think that'd be really cool. I didn't do that. Still worked out fine. I have 9 credit cards now, I think. And yeah, I don't regret any of those specific cards that I've added. So it's kind of how I went about answering that question. But it's a great second question. Going to have to go ahead and move on to the next one, though. Y'all keep leaving those regrets down below. Yeah, John, I see that. Yeah, getting cards within your first cards, getting your first cards as chase cards is really important as well, as John pointed out there. I think that's a regret that a lot of people have. Luckily, I got started with the chase trifecta, so I really don't have any complaints there on my end. But that was, I'm lucky I got started that way. On to the next question here. It comes from Anthony Venture, who actually looks like he is in here today. So that's great to see. I thought you weren't going to be able to make it, Tony. But his first question that he asked me, I think he has 2 back to back actually. But his first question is, would you rather be 5'5" or 6'6"? Now, I don't know how many of y'all watched my last Q&A, just like the normal video that I posted. And the reason that I answered, Tony made a question in that one that basically portrayed me in the light that I am 6 feet, 6 inches tall. Now I'm here to tell y'all, before we meet up in Vegas and all that stuff, which I am planning on going to Vegas for that creator meetup that Luke's putting on, Luke's Points and Miles. And I know a few guys in here are also planning on being there. But yeah, in my last Q&A, I answered in a joking way, saying that I was actually 6'6", and that's why I could play basketball well. That's not necessarily the case, and I wish that I could let this joke continue to go on, Tony, but I don't want y'all to be disappointed when you meet me. If you would have told y'all I was 5'6", I would have let the joke keep riding, because then you'd be impressed when you saw me, but I don't want y'all to be super disappointed. I am about 6 foot, 6'1", so shorter than 6'6", but if I could choose, I would be 6'6", because I did play basketball growing up. I would have likely tried to play in college if I was 5 inches taller. So I guess to answer this question, I would rather be 6'6", but that's just not the case. Close enough. Taller than a lot of my dad's side of the family for sure. They're all like 5'6" and under. So I got really lucky with the genes I got, but that would be my answer to that question. So Tony, I appreciate you bringing that up and letting me clear the air there. But after that, I think Tony did ask a more general question. Yeah, David, I think 6'6" is easy. It's an easy choice. I mean, no offense to anybody that's shorter, but yeah, I don't think anybody would rather be shorter than taller. So I think this was an easy answer. Thank you, Tony, for the layup here. But yeah, his next question, this one's a little bit more into the weeds. He asked, how do I organize my time? Am I structured and have set times to get things done, or is it sporadic spontaneity where you blitz and get a lot of work done in one sitting? So that's a good question. I think, a lot of people in our space, a lot of people that have any kind of entrepreneurial drive or, have a channel of their own, have to be somewhat type A. And that's definitely the case for me. I don't know about y'all in the comments, but I am extremely, I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily a perfectionist in OCD, but I'm borderline there. I need things done in a very organized way. So that's kind of, my quick answer would be that I don't do it just spontaneously. I'm very set with a schedule. I guess to answer just like a rough outline of how I actually organize my time, I do use like Google Calendar for like my main, if I have like meetings or anything for the channel, or if I'm have big events coming up, vacations, stuff like that, I'll put it all on my Google Calendar. But for like my day-to-day tasks, I use an app called Todoist, and it's on desktop as well. So that like automatically pops up every time I get on my computer, and I kind of just work through that on my day-to-day stuff. So that's kind of how I organize my time digitally. Also, I guess I'm going to get into this a little bit later. I was going to answer this in a different way too, but I'm going to let it go for now and I'll answer it later. But yeah, I guess my answer to your question, Tony, would be that I am very type A, and I do organize my time a lot and kind of go structured, like in block settings. And yeah, we'll get into a little bit more of it later though. So it's a good question though. Alrighty. Yeah, Notion, Matt. Yeah, I'd love to. I used to actually use Notion a lot, but I haven't used it in quite a while. It's honestly like overwhelming with how much stuff you can do with it. And I'm just like, I can easily do it on like a Todoist is what I said. I use like a little app on my phone, but you can do it however. What's up, Caesar? I did just get through your question. I guess you could rewind in this live and then 2x speed up to get to me if you didn't get to catch that, but I appreciate you being here. Yeah, the next question here, let's see what this one is. Clean Sharma. All right. And they ask, what are some of your recommendations in regards to tackling credit card debt? I'm currently using the snowball method. And then he said, congrats on 5K. Once again, I appreciate all of y'all so much for being here today, as well as, just supporting the channel, subscribing to the channel, and helping make my dream a reality. But to answer this question, I think there's many good ways to tackle credit card debt. And to be completely honest with you, my blanket answer would be do it in whatever way helps you actually pay your debt off, because that's, the simplest method is going to be the best for you. So if you have a preference, I would, go with that preference. Not everybody's going to, exactly know where to start. And if I had to tell them where to start, like you said, there are two different methods that most people talk about when they're talking about paying off debts, and that's the snowball and the avalanche method. And basically, the snowball method, to my understanding, is going to be where you're paying off the smallest debts first. So if you had like, 5,000, if you had, let's just go straight credit cards. If you had 5 credit cards, one had $1,000 of debt, one had 2,000, it goes up from there. You'd start with the lowest amount of debt first. And no matter what the, APR was on those cards, you would just start tackling that lowest one first. So you can kind of start checking off the boxes as you go. I think that's really great. Especially whenever you're talking about debts that have like very similar APRs. But whenever we're talking about like bigger debts, I don't know if that's necessarily the way I would go about it. The avalanche method, just so y'all know, the other side of it is basically that snowball method, you're paying off the smallest debts first. The avalanche is that you're paying off like the highest interest first, I believe, is the difference between the two. Probably could have looked this up and wrote it down before. But in that case, I would recommend always paying off the highest interest debt first. For example, I wouldn't recommend paying, necessarily your mortgage off first if you have a really low interest rate on that, but you also have $10,000 worth of credit card debt. I think you should get rid of that credit card debt first, because you're going to be, getting charged 20% APR compared to, 4 or whatever it is. So that'd be my recommendation there. But as for like specifically credit cards, I think the snowball method works, or credit card debt, I should say. Which you obviously, if you pay off your cards on time in full every month, like we preach, you won't be in that situation. But if you are, I think the snowball method works great, because they're all going to have pretty similar APRs, and you can just pay off that lowest debt first, and it kind of gives you your lowest, total amount of debt on a card first, because that way you can kind of check off the boxes as you go, and it gives you motivation to keep paying it down rather than paying towards one massive sum that you don't really see chipping away. I think the snowball method could work great in that situation. So that's a good question. It's a more of a personal finance related question, which eventually I do want to talk more about that stuff on my channel, and I'm super interested in it. I think we all kind of are interested in Graham's stuff to some degree, and he kind of got me, really interested in personal finance. So that's kind of where I got started as well. Let me look at some of these questions here in chat real quick. Looks like, yeah, William, you're asking if I was a civil engineer. Did I get a scholarship for student loans? Yeah, so no, I was a civil engineer. I went to the University of Texas here in Austin. I did not get a scholarship. I did take out a student loan for like my freshman year for whatever reason. It was like $5,000 loan. I honestly don't remember when me and my parents did that. but I paid that off like the year of that I got it, or the year after. The way that my college was funded is that basically my mom and stepdad helped me with like living, like room and board basically. And then I paid for tuition myself. So I've been working since I was like 15, I guess, for a family friend. And since then, yeah, I've just been accumulating money that I've, was able to use for college. And yeah, now I'm lucky to be able to be making money that I can actually keep. So that's great. What's up, Cal? Juan's from San Antonio. Nice. Yeah. I'm from Austin, for those of y'all that don't know. But yeah, I love Texas in general. Awesome. I see there are a lot of other questions in here. I'm going to eventually try to come back to these. I want to keep going on the questions y'all asked on the community poll, though, because that's what I want to at least get through today while I have the time before I have to leave. So it looks like we just answered this question from Clean Sharma. Let's go on to the next one. This one's from AJ. And he asked what card I was most surprised by getting approved for. And then have I ever gotten an application denied? And if so, what card was I denied for? So to answer this question, I think, the card that I was honestly most surprised I got approved for, I think that'd have to be like the Venture X, honestly, because not the fact that I didn't think I could get approved, because I feel like I did have like a strong credit profile, obviously. But the Venture X just has so many like horror stories around it that it was still so scary to apply for that card. And luckily I got approved, and luckily people have really, tuned into that video and like really enjoyed it. But yeah, that was the one I was probably most surprised I got approved for, just because of all the horror stories about it. I think a close second for me would probably be the Amex Blue Business Plus. And the reason for that was because that was my first business credit card. I hadn't been in the business credit card game before, so I was a little bit nervous about that one. Luckily, it obviously went well, and that's another video that y'all seem to take a liking to, so maybe y'all found me off of that video. But yeah, so those were the two that I was probably most surprised that I was approved for. To answer your other parts of your question, I've never actually been denied for a credit card yet, which is something it's a blessing. I haven't had to deal with that yet. The closest thing I've been to that is whenever I applied for my girlfriend to get her first credit card with her on the channel. And that was that video I made about how to get your first Chase credit card. And she went to a pending review. And she was pre-approved for the card before, so it was a little bit confusing, but the pending review didn't even matter. Like, she got the card automatically loaded into her app like the same day or the day after. So it was just a weird situation, but that was the only pending review screen I've even ever seen, which again, this is all, I'm coming from a very blessed perspective. And I'm sure, like, I'm excited for that first denial because it's going to happen. And I kind of want to need to get it done. So, it can't keep sneaking up on me. But yeah, I would say that every single application does make me nervous to a degree. I mean, I think everybody gets that a little bit. It's like the weird collector's mentality I think everybody kind of has in the credit card game, where I really don't want to get denied for a card, and I'm really, excited when I do get approved. And it's just like that spinning wheel whenever you click submit. Man, it's tough. Wow, Cal, I appreciate that, man. That's awesome. It's my first super chat ever right there. I think that's what these are called, right? Yeah, that is so cool. It looks like you've been denied a few times. Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting it. I've only added 9 credit cards so far, like I said earlier. So there's plenty of room for me to get denied. I'm not worried about that, But yeah, I mean, I really appreciate that. That's awesome to see. Looks like Luke joined a little bit ago too. What's up, Luke? I was just talking about you earlier a little bit. Oh yeah, editing a video makes sense. It takes a long time, man. It takes a long time. Chad saying the Venture X is the devil. Yeah, that card, I mean, I feel really bad for people that are still or either got denied with a perfect credit score and a perfect credit profile, or people that are still nervous to apply. I did talk about in that video how you can check the pre-approval tool. And if you are pre-approved for any of the venture cards, you have a pretty dang solid chance of getting approved for the Venture X. From what I've seen, I haven't really seen many people apply after being pre-approved for the Venture X, or being pre-approved for one of the venture cards, and not get approved for the Venture X. You're likely going to. Maybe y'all have different data points down below, but I've never seen anybody get denied after getting pre-approved for another venture card. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like a lot of y'all are saying either haven't been denied for a card in a while, or you have been denied at some point, which is definitely going to happen. John, looks like you were denied. So there's multiple Johns in here, but John R's got denied 2 times for the Delta Gold card. Yeah, and then you were approved a week later. It's weird, man. That's kind of how every lender is. Like if you're getting targeted offers, you should be able to get approved for whatever card you're applying for. And sometimes if you don't go through that direct link, you'll get a pending review or get denied. And that's when I had success, just like with my girlfriend's card, at least, of trying to call the reconsideration line. Hers obviously just went through no matter what, but that's my recommendation always is especially if you were pre-approved, go ahead and call that reconsideration line and just see if you can get it flipped, because you should be able to if you're pre-approved. But man, I could talk about all these for hours. I need to keep moving though. We do got a lot of questions to get through. That was a good question, AJ, though, so I appreciate that. Once again, Cal, I appreciate you being here. Super chat is awesome, man. I appreciate that. All right, the next question comes from Jake, and he asks, who's next on the Talking with Other Creators series? So the series he's talking about is the Creator Conversation series that I started on my channel, which I think y'all really enjoy. I hope you do. I think it's been my favorite thing I've done with the channel so far. I love getting to talk with other creators because it's the same thing as like the credit card game in general. We're all so like-minded. You know what I mean? Like everybody here loves credit cards. We love talking about these things. But not only that, whenever I connect with other creators, they're people that don't only just love credit cards, but they also love creating content. And that's, it's just another connection that we have together. So getting to talk with people about these things that I love is it's awesome. I guess to answer his question though, I don't know if I can share who's the next person. I will tell you that it's coming out next Sunday is when that one will be coming out. I have an idea for this. Instead of me telling y'all who is coming onto the channel next, how about I give y'all like 30 seconds or so? I want to see y'all leave some guesses down below. If you're watching the VOD after this or the video, go ahead and leave a comment and guess who you think is going to be on next. And like I said, it's going to be a week from tomorrow is when that person will be on. But let's get a couple guesses in here. I won't tell you if you like who the exact person is, but if you guess the name right, then I will say that you got at least the name right out of one of these options that y'all leave. So I'm going to drink some water while y'all put that in. Got some guesses for Sebi, Mark Reese, Anthony, RJ Financial, myself. Well, this is myself on the Creator Conversations right here, Josh. Daniel Braun's a guess. Jazzy, Daniel, Mark Reese, Graham Stephan. Man, some good guesses in there. I will say this. Sebi again, Mark Reese. Okay. I will say this. Y'all did guess the person correctly out of the names that you've left. There might be, 7 names in there that you left, so you got a decent shot at guessing who it is, but Chad's Money Minutes. Yeah, maybe so, dude. I want to get everybody on here at some point. Proud Money, that's a great guess as well. CJ, also a good one. But yeah, like I said, y'all did guess the correct name. I'm not going to tell you who it was, but these are all great ideas too. Make sure you leave. Well, I guess these will go to the comment section later, but I do want to have like as many people on as I can within the credit card niche of YouTube, but also just like broader personal finance and stuff like that. So we're going to keep reaching out to people. And honestly, the more I don't necessarily like, my goal is not to add a ton of subscribers to my channel, like just for the sake of it. The real reason now that I even like genuinely care about the number, like I love everybody that's joining and I care about every single one of y'all that joined the channel. But the reason I care about that, just overarching number is because it gives me at least some pull with people that we can get on the show and y'all can, talk to or, talk to through me, through your questions and everything like that. So that's kind of why I do care about that number at this point. But I do want to have as many people on as I can. Y'all did guess it correctly, and I'm not going to tell you who it was. The video is coming out next Sunday, so you'll see it. All right. It's a good question, though. I think everybody wants to know that one. So I appreciate you asking that, Jake. Let's go ahead and move on to the next question here. And this one comes from Mojo, who is in the chat today. So this is a good question. I'm going to be answering for somebody that is live here today. And his question was, if you could only roll with 3 no annual fee cards for 1 whole year, what 3 cards would those be and why? Now that is a good question. I think that's one that everybody would be pretty interested in hearing about. I did do a little bit of thinking on this one before I joined the stream because I wanted to give you all at least a decent answer. And, no annual fee cards are interesting. For the most part, no annual fee cards are going to be mainly cashback focused cards, because without that, you can't really transfer out to partners or anything like that. So in thinking about this question, my main thought with it was, okay, how do I incorporate some cashback cards with lenders that I do like, while also maybe throwing in a little bit of travel if I wanted to. And what I gathered here is that I think the 3 cards I would choose would be, first of all, this may come as a surprise, but I think I'd go with the Amex Blue Business Plus. And I think I obviously would want to use that as my catch-all card for personal and business expenses. And that's a conversation I think we actually will have later. That was one of the questions. But I would use the Amex Blue Business Plus as a catch-all card. And the reason I would say that one is because I could also transfer those points out to travel partners and still get some positive value, some really high value with my Amex points. Because my understanding, Amex points, they're all just going to pool into one account, Amex membership rewards points. And you can transfer those out to partners with that. Y'all let me know if I'm wrong about that. I'm pretty sure you can with just the Blue Business Plus. I've looked it up a few times, but maybe it's changed. So I think that would be my catch-all card because I do like to travel. I'm on team travel, so this question's a little bit hard because I'm not as big into cashback as some of y'all are, but I do love cashback credit cards as well. And then, so that'd be my first card. My catch-all card would be the Blue Business Plus. And then I think I would add in the Chase Freedom Flex because it's a rotating 5X card that's really easy to get value out of, at least, a few of the, a couple of the quarters. So the Freedom Flex is an easy one to add in there. I love Chase's ecosystem. Y'all know that. There's not much else to say about that card. It's solid. And then I think my third card would have to be the City Custom Cash because I could use the Chase Freedom Flex for dining. I could use it for, obviously travel through the Chase portal, stuff like that. And then I use the Blue Business Plus for my catch-all card. The City Custom Cash could be a rotating card that I either use for gas or groceries maybe. And I could throw in a different card in here. There's obviously going to be different opinions on this in the comments. And yeah, so those would be the 3 I would pick. The Blue Business Plus, Chase Freedom Flex, and the City Custom Cash, I think would be my 3 no annual fee cards that I'd at least rock for a year, see how much value I got out of them. I feel like they're easy to get value from. So I think that would be my choices there. That's a great question. Looks like y'all are leaving some thoughts here as well in the comments. Oh, looks like Matt just joined. What's up, Matt? Glad you're in here. I appreciate you stopping by even just for a second. Matt getting all the love here. Yeah, DJ October, you're a Chase fanboy too. Yeah, Chase cards are just so good for the person that they're targeted at. Like, I don't know. I know they're not for everybody, but they're the easiest card to recommend because they really are like the everyday person card. I'm not going to necessarily recommend Amex cards to everybody because most of them have high annual fees. You have to use credits to get it. You usually have to live in a city to actually use their cards. So that's why I'm a little bit hesitant to always recommend Amex cards. I do love Amex cards. I still would put Chase as the top ecosystem in my setup because I love transferring out the Hyatt, and that's a Chase travel partner. So obviously I wouldn't be able to do that with this no annual fee setup we were just talking about because you do need a higher tier Chase card to be able to do that. But I do love Chase as just in general. The Saver One, Isaac, was one that I considered for this. I think it's a good choice. I do remember, though, I think the Saver One, I can't remember why I didn't pick that exactly. I think it overlaps a decent bit with the Freedom Flex, and I assume that the rotating categories on the Freedom Flex would cover most of what the Saver One does, and you already get 3x on dining with the Freedom Flex. So I was considering adding the Capital Ones or the City Custom Cash so I could at least get 5x on gas, or if I didn't have a rotating category of like groceries or whatever, then I could use the Custom Cash for that. It's kind of my idea, at least. Yeah, it looks like y'all are also leaving some more questions. CJ, I saw that. Oh, Bimmer, you're in here. That's awesome. You asking if it's live. Yeah, it is live right now. I did answer your question first. So if you want to rewind to that, you can. I'm also going to be posting this one as an edited video later and leaving the full live stream on my live stream shelf on my channel. So y'all can find that there. Oh, Luke, come on now. I appreciate that, man. Another super chat from Luke here. That's awesome to see. I really appreciate y'all. All the support is just, it's unheard of. The niche that we find ourselves in, I think, is like the most supportive niche I've seen on YouTube. Like, it's wild. coming in here only a year ago, I never expected to make connections with people this quickly and like this deep of connections. And I'm just really blessed to be able to do this. So I appreciate y'all supporting. Luke, always appreciate you joining and supporting me, because I know we all need it. It can be a lonely world doing YouTube, but it's nice to see that we have a community that's so supportive, both the creators and the subscribers. So I do see a lot more questions popping in here. I will be getting to as many of those as I can after I get through the questions that were left previously. So we're going to keep scrolling through these and make sure I cover all of those people that did leave a comment. So that'd be my answer to that one. Hopefully that answered your question, Mojo. And then DJ October, your question's up next. I know you're in the chat. And what you asked was, if I could only have 3 personal credit cards and they have to be from 3 separate banks, what would that trifecta look like? So 3 credit cards, personal credit cards from 3 different banks. Now that is a really good question. And this one was really fun to think about as well. I wonder if y'all would be able to guess exactly what I put here. I'll give it a couple seconds before I say it, because I did make a video recently that covers 2 of these cards that I think make a lot of sense in combination with each other with my spending habits. And then the third one's one I talk about all the time. So I imagine y'all would catch on to that pretty quick. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it though. My answer to your question here, 3 personal credit cards. They have to be from 3 separate banks. What would that trifecta look like? My answer to that one would be, I think you have to go for me with the Amex Gold card. And the reason I say that is because I spend so much money on food. Looks like people are guessing in here. Y'all are really close. No one's guessed it yet that I can see, but I'm going to keep rolling through this. So the first card would be the Amex Gold card. It's just a no-brainer for me for the food spend that I do, because I do value Amex points highly, because I'm also, I do prefer to transfer my points out to travel partners, at least right now. And the Amex Gold card, that's what you have to really do with the points to get a ton of value from them. You can't use them in the portal and maybe get like 1 cent per point, or add the Charles Schwab Platinum down the line and get 1.1 cents per point when you redeem through your brokerage account with Charles Schwab. But for this trifecta we're talking about, the Amex Gold card still earns a slot because of how much money I spend on food, and because I do like Amex's ecosystem a lot. So that'd be the first card. The second card here would be the Capital One Venture X. So y'all got that one. I think everybody might have guessed that one, basically. So the Venture X, because it serves as a catch-all card, and it's also a luxury travel credit card. So that is just a no-brainer for me as well, especially because the annual fee is so easily justifiable for somebody that has travel habits like I do. I think that you honestly can get positive value from that card by just booking 1 trip a year. And I've said that in multiple videos, but if you book a trip through their travel portal that's $300 or more, you're going to get that $300 back from their annual travel credit. And then even if you don't use the global entry or TSA pre-check credit, if you just get those anniversary bonus miles, you're already positive $5 if you just value those anniversary miles at 1 cent per point. But if you transfer out to travel partners, you might get 1.5 to 2 cents per point. Now you're actually like pretty easily in the positive, more than $5 a year just by holding it and booking 1 trip. So I think it's a no-brainer card. Also is a Visa credit card, and serves as a catch-all card with that 2x back on every purchase. So that's card number 2 easily. And then the third credit card is a little bit of a weird one. Got a lot of guesses in here. Looks like Isaac actually did guess this right. So props to you, Isaac. Yeah, Ventrex is a great card. But yeah, the third card would be the City Custom Cash for me. And I know that's weird, because if I'm only having 3 credit cards, the City Custom Cash is one that I won't be able to transfer out to travel partners. But similar to my previous answer to the last question, I think it's good to mix a little bit of cash back in there. And the City Custom Cash is just one that's so easy to slot into any setup. Like, it's just, you can't get mad at me for putting that in a trifecta, because it's just, you're getting 5x on your highest spend category every month, up to $500 worth of spend. So for me, it's been my gas card. It probably always will be my gas card, especially once I add the City Premier card down the line and transfer those points out to travel partners. So the 3 different lenders would be Amex, Citi, and Capital One in this case. I actually did not include a Chase card in here, which is really surprising. But I think that those 3 cards in combination work really well together and would cover all my high spending categories of just miscellaneous spend with the Venture X, food with the Amex Gold, and gas with the Custom Cash. So that's what I would go with. I wish the Chase cards had some gas categories in there, or a grocery category, and maybe I would have put a Chase card in there, but not for this answer. And also, I just saw that Chad, another big supporter of the channel. Chad leaving a super chat here. That means a ton, man. It looks like you're talking about how, yeah, you remember when we first started out, and I just appreciate the comment, man. That's awesome. Chad's been one of the guys that I've known since I really started the channel, and he's always been a huge supporter, and me a supporter of him as well. I love his content. Very down to earth, and like you feel like you're in the room with him. So that's why I love Chad's channel. I mean, that goes for everybody that's in here today. Like, honestly, a bunch of great creators here today. Man, doing this live gets me my throat all dry. That's wild. Yeah, that's a good question too. I see more questions coming in. Yeah, CJ totally cheated on Chase. I don't know. I mean, I love Chase cards for the right person, but like I said, once you kind of you can kind of like graduate away from Chase in a way. And I know that's sacrilegious of me to say, but like now I have the Capital One Venture X that serves as my catch-all card. So I don't necessarily need the Chase Freedom Unlimited as much, but I think it's still an important card to have in there because I can trade which card I'm using as my miscellaneous spin card, depending on what points I need more of. Like right now, I think I have like over 300,000 Chase points, which is insane. But Capital One miles are what I'm lacking. So I'm going to be using the Venture X for all my purchases until they kind of catch up. Then I could, I'll start using my points and need more points of one ecosystem. So I could even use the Blue Business Plus for personal purchases if I wanted to accumulate Amex points. But I feel like they're like the easiest one to accumulate, especially with their welcome bonuses. So I don't really worry about. I just use the Blue Business Plus for actual business expenses. But yeah, that was a great question. I'm going to get to as many questions as I can in the chat later, but I keep repeating it just in case y'all think I'm ignoring you. I'm not ignoring you. I see all the questions, but I want to get through these guys first that did leave some questions. That was a great question, DJ October. That was fun. Again, I'm talking about these for so long, but whatever. I'm going to keep going. I love this stuff. Marcus asked the next question. He asked, do I ever get a credit card just for the bonus? Is that a bad thing financially or ethically? And then assume overall good credit and existing long credit history. So I'm interested to see what y'all think about this. This was one that, for me, I think it's an easy answer for myself. And I think it might be the same for other people as well. But my short answer to this question is that, first of all, let me just start off by saying, answering the first part of your question, do I ever get a credit card just for the bonus? The answer to that right now is no, technically, because I'm still building out my core credit card setup, right? So I don't necessarily need to be applying for cards just for bonuses. And I also just don't think that, even if you are, I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I think that's kind of the game of credit cards, is like you're adding cards until you get to your core credit card setup that you don't think you'll ever have to cancel. And then you're just adding cards for bonuses, which is like the place that I aspire to be to. So I guess that would be my short answer to your question is I have not only opened card for bonuses yet, but I also don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. I think that's what you should be doing in the credit card game. I don't think it's ethically wrong because that's what the banks are trying to do, is get people into their ecosystems. And we're just taking advantage of what they're giving us. Maybe you could say it's an ethically bad thing if you're like straight up churning credit cards and you're like, you're going to get blacklisted at some point though if you're doing that. So, I guess there'll be a little bit of vengeance for that. But yeah, that's actually a really good point by Matt too. Ethics should never be a concern. Banks are not your friend and out to exploit you. I guess I wouldn't say that like as harshly, but it is true, in a way. It's like they're here to make money off of us. And even if they give us a bonus, we are going to be paying them by using their cards. Every transaction that we make pays them. And, the other side of the coin is that this is the most, like, the less fun side of the credit card game, is that the reason that we're able to get high bonuses like this is because there's somebody on the other side that is either not making payments or, just not doing well financially. And that's why they're able to shell so much money out to people in their bonuses, which is sad. And that's why, we make videos like this, I believe. I think that's why we're all here, is to help people become more financially responsible. But not only that, it's then, okay, how do we profit from the system? Yeah, Luke, play by their rules. Ethics aren't involved, right? Yeah, as long as you're playing within the rules, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing financially wrong with it for sure, as long as you are spending money that you would have already been spending to hit the bonuses. If you're spending money on top of what you would have already been spending, then you're just wasting money. So I guess that's financially irresponsible. and the bonuses won't matter because you're overspending. That's what they want you to do on your cards, is overspend so that you default on your payments and stuff. So just take it for what it's worth. As long as you're playing it right, there's nothing wrong with it, in my opinion, I should say. Right. Yeah, Stan makes a good point. At some point, you eventually run out of cards to get for regular use, and then it's really all about the subs. That's my take on it too. Danny's in here. What's up, Danny? I know we got some questions for you later on, so be ready for that. I believe you left some questions in here at least. Maybe not, but that was a great one. I think that's an important one to cover, so I appreciate you bringing that up, Marcus. All right. Next question comes from Matt Welter, which I don't know if he's still in here. Unfortunately, he said he was only in here for a couple minutes, but he'll get to see this on the VOD afterwards. But Matt asks, how much money are you making from YouTube in monthly revenue right now? And what is your goal for monthly revenue 1 year from now? Now, that's a really interesting question. I think, the goals part is a little bit harder to answer. I mean, how much money I'm making right now, I'll tell y'all. I can't tell you exactly how much I'm making from YouTube in total. I guess I can from YouTube specifically, but from like sponsorships and credit card affiliates, I can't necessarily talk about that as much. But I want to be open and transparent with y'all. That's what I do here, or what I want to do here, at least. Once again, going back to why I'm even doing this in the first place is to document my journey, and I'm documenting my journey with YouTube as well. And then he also has a second question here about the number one aspirational credit card redemption that I want to take. I'll answer that one after this YouTube one first, but let me just go ahead and dive into that. So as of right now, I'm finally getting to a point, I think, because I'm uploading more videos. Like, I'm uploading every Wednesday and Sunday now. For those of y'all that have noticed and been here for all my videos, I obviously really appreciate y'all. But from YouTube now, I'm getting close to that, like, AdSense paying me about $1,000 a month, which, again, just trying to be transparent, which is awesome. Like, it's amazing. It's a great side hustle, if anything. And that's just from YouTube ad revenue, which obviously in the personal finance space is going to pay you a lot more than you were. Like, if you're in entertainment, for example, you're going to be getting paid, maybe like a third to a fifth of what finance creators make, which is pretty insane. But yeah, it's definitely a comfortable amount of money that I'm making from YouTube, and I'm blessed to be able to say that. I honestly did not expect to make any money from YouTube until a year after I started. Was my goal was to make my first penny a year after I got started and hit 1,000 subscribers. And it's pretty crazy to see that we actually hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, like within a few months theoretically, but we hit 5,000 subscribers within that first year, which is like, that's insane. I didn't even set that as a goal at all. So that's why I'm like, all of this, I'm trying to really just soak in, because this is a journey that I've been wanting to take forever. I've always been a YouTube fanatic in a way. I've never watched TV. I've always watched YouTube. So this is like a dream come true to be able to even do this at all. So yeah, that's like my YouTube monetization, at least from AdSense. I do make money from affiliates and sponsors as well. I think, you see a lot of YouTubers pushing links and stuff like that all the time. And I think you have to realize to a degree that we kind of have to do that to like profit in a way. Like, there are people that are, trying to make a living off of this. And that's why, like, someone like myself is pushing my links. I know it can get annoying, and I hope that it doesn't from my channel or from other channels that you watch, but I know that some people get annoyed by it. And that's kind of the reason for it, is because they do actually pay pretty well, especially compared to AdSense. So just keep that in mind and have some grace for the creators that are trying to push those things. But yeah, that's how much I'm making now. I guess my future goal now is just to make basically as much money as I do from like a full-time engineering job. And that's like my next goal, which, whether that's like 5,000 a month, 6,000 a month, or whatever it is, like, that would be my next goal. But I honestly just haven't thought about it. My main goal so far has been to be able to do YouTube full time. And that's what my money goal has been, to cover my expenses. So that's kind of like what I'm aiming for right now. And we'll get into this a little bit later, but I have some exciting news on that front. So, but yeah. Quick question from Jake here that I want to answer. Do I think there's space for more credit card creators? I don't think that there's ever not space for anybody to get started on YouTube. The whole idea behind YouTube, at least on my end, was I was worried about that too, that the market was oversaturated. I think that everybody in this space brings a different perspective. I mean, you see all the people that are in here commenting today. Luke's been commenting a lot. Chad's in here, Anthony was in here, Matt was in here, Cal was in here. Like, there's a bunch of guys that are in here that we technically all are doing the same thing, but we're all putting our own spin on it. And that's the beauty of YouTube, is you kind of gravitate towards a personality more than just like the information. You can get the information from online, but we're here to be more of a personality and like a friend sharing this information with you. So I don't think that it's never oversaturated. That's my quick answer to that. And I'll get to y'all's questions later too, but that was one I wanted to cover real quick. Let's keep moving through these, man. We're already at 50 minutes. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Matt had a second question here. What is my number one aspirational trip? So for some reason, I always like land on Australia as my number one aspirational trip. I don't even know why, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know. So that's my quick answer, would be Australia. I do really think it'd be cool to go to like Rome and Greece. I've also always wanted to go to London. I hear it's really rainy and stuff there, but I don't know. I love the idea of it. So I guess my main would be Australia. I think Japan would be cool one day. Rome and Greece are becoming like higher on my list too, just because I haven't been and I'm young. And honestly, Luke from Luke's Points and Miles here told me to go to Greece, if I recall correctly. And that is on my list for sure. So that would probably be my number one aspirational trip. It's just one of those places. So very broad answer there for you. But yeah, let's see. The next question here comes from one of the most infamous commenters on all of the credit card YouTube space, Jason Kazama. And he asks, how do I really feel about his exit from the credit card game? Have y'all seen Jason's comments on everybody's videos? For those of y'all that didn't know, Jason is out of the credit card game. And to be honest with you, my opinions on it is that for somebody who is out of the credit card game, you honestly might be the most in the game person I've ever met, because you are commenting on all of our videos and I love it. I love the support, even if it's, to tell us that you're out of the game, it's still support in some way. So I really appreciate you being here. And I don't think that you should be out of the credit card game per se. Wouldn't throw in the towel just yet, but at the end of the day, did the game switch up or did you? That's the real question. So that'd be my answer to you, Jason. But I do appreciate you being here on all of our videos. I think it's awesome. Next question here comes from Jimmy James. And he asks, once again, what's your dream destination and what credit card setup would you use to get there? Jimmy's a massive supporter of the channel. He's been here for a long time. I really appreciate him being here. And I think it's a great question. I kind of just answered this with Matt's, but instead of answering my destination, I'll tell you what credit card setup I'd use to get there. And I think that the main credit cards that I would use, I'm accumulating a ton of Amex and Chase points, are my top two lenders. I love Amex and Chase cards and their points. Their point systems are the most valuable, in my opinion. And so those would be the points that I used to get there. As for like what I would carry once I was there, well, I guess first of all, the cards that I use with Amex and Chase to get those points would be the Amex Gold card, gives me a ton of points. I'd spend so much money on food. With Chase, it was my Chase Freedom Unlimited. And I use the Chase Sapphire Preferred to transfer out the travel partners. I have the OG Chase Freedom that I use for the rotating categories, like on Amazon right now. Transfer those points to the Chase Sapphire Preferred and out to travel partners. So to get there, it'd probably be a combination of Chase and Amex points, because those are what I have the most of right now. But I also have a decent amount of Capital One miles as well now. So maybe I'd throw those in there too. And so I got to touch on this now too. I think that there's a really big importance on diversifying your points, but not only that, I think it's also nice in situations like this where you want to make an aspirational trip that those lenders have overlapping transfer partners. And I know that's kind of crazy to say maybe, but I think it's really important, because say I needed to top off my trip with 50,000 points for like Virgin Atlantic or something. Instead of me having to either spend that money or go get another card for a welcome bonus, I could just transfer those miles, say from Capital One, who I have 50,000 miles with. I can transfer those into Virgin Atlantic, or that might be a bad example, depending on what their travel partners are. But I can transfer those from another lender and to top off my trip and get there. And that's because I have overlapping transfer partners, which I don't think is a bad thing. That's my opinion on it. Once I'm there, though, I think the Capital One Venture X would be like the workhorse, because it's a Visa card. It's going to give me 2x back on everything. The Amex Gold card won't give me 4x back on dining or on groceries overseas, but it would give me 4x on dining. So I would try to use that wherever I'm at, but could easily get denied. or not denied, but not accepted. But yeah, that would be my idea. Also have the Chase Sapphire Preferred as a back pocket card for anything while I'm there. Those would be my main 3. That's a great question. Yeah, Luke, I see you now saying that Greece is an amazing experience. Go before you're married. Yeah. Not married yet. Yeah, John, talking about the overlapping transfer partners. I think that's really important. Bimmer, I think dipping into Chase's ecosystem. Yeah, I think it's a good idea, especially if you don't have a ton of credit cards. Even if you do, like a lot of them, you can downgrade any of their cards really to a no annual fee version. So like, I mean, you can give Chase cards hate all you want, but like anybody can get use out of them. Go to Malta. That's not a bad idea either. Take that into consideration. Yeah, I'm going to keep flying through these for now. And then we'll get to the live questions. So make sure y'all stick around. Leave a like if you're enjoying this. I really appreciate all y'all support. We've had a few super chats. Like, that's insane. So I really appreciate all of y'all being here today, spending your Saturday with me. That's awesome. Cool. We just answered Jimmy's question. Let's move on to Billy's question now. And he asks, what are the best ways to use Chase rewards points for domestic traveling? For example, Florida, Vegas, California. Well, you are very much in luck that we have Luke's points and miles in here today. I know he talks a lot about aspirational trips more, like going, to Europe or overseas, but he knows everything about travel in general with points. But no, I think my answer for this one's pretty simple, and it might surprise you, but I would say that for somebody that is traveling like a ton domestically, when it comes to booking flights, I think the Chase Sapphire Reserve is honestly going to be your best bet in booking flights through their travel portal, because you're going to get that 50% boost on all your Chase points in the travel portal. Yes, you have to stomach the $550 annual fee, and you only get enough to cover $300 of that back from credits. But if you're booking enough trips with it domestically, you're going to get way more value than that extra like $250 of the effective annual fee. So that would be my recommendation for anybody that's like just wants to travel domestically. Like the Chase Sapphire Reserve is solid, because you're not, for example, like I book a lot of Southwest flights because I travel domestically a lot with Southwest because I'm out of Austin, and that's like one of our bigger airlines here. And whenever I do that, I'm getting like 1.3 to 1.5 cents per point, but then I have to go through their calendar and all of that stuff. So if I could just book through the travel portal, no blackout dates, don't have to worry about it, get 1.5 cents per point, like that's super solid. So that'd be my recommendation for domestic travel with Chase points. Obviously, if you had the Chase Sapphire Preferred, you get a 25% boost. You could use that point or those points in that way as well. Or you could just book through the travel portal or cash out and, buy the flight in cash. But yeah, my recommendation would be like, if you really want to get the most value out of your Chase points domestically and in economy, I should say, the Chase Sapphire Reserve is honestly a really solid card and doesn't get talked about that much. But that would be my answer there. So let's see if that upset anybody. All right, sweet. I got Luke's blessing on it. That's all I needed. Perfect. We're going to go ahead and move on before he second guesses it. But yeah, Luke's a great resource for anything travel. So I go check out his channel for sure. Next question comes from Stan the Man, Stan the Credit Frog. He asked me, what skills or set of skills am I trying to improve in? It's probably a bunch, but what would I consider to be my top priority? It's also a great question. I had to write some stuff down for this one. I had to think about it a little bit. But no, you were right by saying that there are a bunch, like a lot of things that I'm trying to improve. I'm still young and, wanting to work towards a better future in general, financially, relationship-wise. And for this question, I'm going to assume that it was more directed at like business, like what I'm trying to improve maybe when it comes to the channel or just business in general. And I mean, as y'all can tell, there's a few things I'm trying to improve on. I think like live conversation is a big thing, whether that be through live streams like this. This is the first one, obviously, but I think it's important. Whether it's that way or through the creator conversations episodes, I think that's a big way that I can connect with people and like get to know people that have, like I said earlier, just like-minded folks that love credit cards, love business, love the business of YouTube. That's like what I'm really trying to develop, is being able to talk to them in just like a normal way and make everybody else enjoy it that watches. Excuse me. Jeez. Other than that, though, I think what ties directly into that would be like networking. I think that's a skill that you know, being somebody that I'd self-proclaim myself as like an introvert for the most part. I can be extroverted when I wanted to, or when I want to, or in front of a camera. Like I can do that kind of stuff, no problem. But I definitely like recharge by being alone and like not talking to a bunch of people. So networking is one thing that like I want to improve on this year. Maybe go to some conferences, maybe just meet up with y'all. Like the Vegas meetup, I think will be a great time. Like there's a lot of stuff that I can do through that route. And I think that's a really important skill to be able to have, is just being able to network and talk with people. And I think honestly, my top priority would be like just marketing in general, which is a really weird skill to be like talking about as a YouTube channel. But in my opinion, I think that YouTube, whenever you're a YouTuber, you're in the business of just marketing yourself. That's what YouTube is, in a weird way. So that's kind of my goal right now, is to be able to better market not only myself in the channel, but also be able to market whatever products I might come out with, like digital products or like memberships, or maybe I start some kind of other community off of YouTube or an email list. Like whatever I end up wanting to do, I need to be able to market myself and market a brand. And I think that's just important with any business that I might end up starting in the future. Those would be my main ones, Stan. So I appreciate you asking that one. Luke. Bimmer. Yeah, involuntary introvert. Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, Luke, it looks like your question is up next, man. So let's see what you got cooking up. Luke's Points of Miles asking if Austin is the San Francisco of Texas, but also telling me to not answer that. So not going to answer that. I will say though, one thing about just Austin in general, like the Austin area, I did grow up like in the country, kind of outside of Austin. And I'm really glad that I had that, because I love like a little bit of country living and not being like necessarily downtown or anything like that. Like I didn't actually grow up necessarily like in Austin. Kind of grew up in like the wine country and the hill country. So I love that. But second question Luke asked is if I could take Ben Hedges in a bare knuckle boxing match. That's a great question. Ben did mention in one of the comments that he might be in here today. And unfortunately, he doesn't seem to be here for this part of the live stream. But I honestly, you know, I'm a little bit worried about that. Because Ben, like you said, he might be a little bit wiry. He might sneak a few punches in on me, and I might not know what to do with it. I feel like he'd be a little bit sneaky good. So I guess my quick answer would be I think that I could take him, maybe just from, you know, I'm a little bit athletic. You know, I've worked out for a long time, so hopefully that would get me somewhere. But yeah, no, I do actually genuinely want to like get into some kind. I've said this for like 3 years, but I want to be able to get into some kind of like, not necessarily boxing as like a sport, but boxing as a workout, or just like, you know, just hitting bags and stuff like that, or maybe some like Brazilian jiu-jitsu, something like that, because I just don't know how to use my body in that way. Like I've played sports forever, but I don't know how to use my body in any like self-defense way even, or anything like that. So might need to get some training from Luke, the Navy man himself, see if you can teach me something. But I think that was a great question. So I appreciate you asking about that. Oh man. Yeah, that's a fair point, Luke. Austin is growing with people from California. Like a lot of people from California are here, which is why I'm very fortunate to say that like my family still lives in the hill country, because I can escape there and go do some outdoorsy stuff and not be in the city. But yeah, I think Ben is like, oh gosh, I'm going to take a sip here. Y'all let me know. Do you think I could beat Ben Hedges in a boxing match? That's the question of the day right there. Hopefully he sees this later too. All right. An hour and 3 minutes in. Oh, Stan, come on now. Come on now, Stan. I appreciate that so much, dude. There are so many skills to learn, and you're crushing it. Great work, and congrats again on 5K. Dude, you're awesome. Stan's been, really instrumental in helping me grow. I think Matt Welter was the one that introduced kind of like all three of us together, me, Stan, and Matt. And yeah, like all three of us had a little group together, and we've been growing together since the very beginning. And I can't like thank y'all enough for the support, especially you, Stan. We text a lot, and I ask you a bunch of questions, so I appreciate you putting up with it. But really appreciate the super chat and you being here. And yeah, we're constantly trying to improve here, so a lot more skills to learn. But I'm gonna keep pushing. You know. I appreciate you so much, man. I do see y'all's questions coming in still. James, I see yours asking about IHG or Hilton Surpass. I think any hotel card, quick answer, any hotel card that gives you a free night can be a keeper card. That'd be my short answer, because if the annual fee is $95, $99 and you're getting a room every year that's more than that amount, it's a keeper card, in my opinion, until you stop staying at that hotel. And you could downgrade or cancel after that. All right. Next question comes from Forrest. All right, let me see if I can break this down a little bit shorter here. I really appreciate the thoughtful comment. So it looks like he's basically asking, what cards have I applied for and just said, yep, that was not the smartest move. So what credit cards do I regret? And then after that, asking, do I think I'll be using any solely cashback cards that don't have the ability to transfer out to partners? And then lastly, what store-specific credit cards would I think are worthy looking at? And then a bonus question, in what situations is it okay to put personal expenses on business cards? So we're going to break those down each one by one. Let's see. What cards I regret? Answered this earlier with Caesar's question. I don't regret any of the cards that I've added. I really enjoy all the ones that I've used. And I think I've added them in like the correct order. Got the Chase Trifecta first. Then I believe I got the, God, I always get these mixed up. It was either the Amex Gold or the Custom Cash after that. And then the other one was my fifth card. And I think those were like a solid starting five. And then, now moving into more luxury cards or business cards. So I think that's I don't regret any of my cards that I've added so far. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next part of that question. Now that I have the Venture X, will I be using any solely cashback cards? I've mentioned this a couple times. I'm not somebody that's on Team Cashback, nor am I like interested in being on Team Cashback right now, because I just know what kind of value you can get from the travel game. And I've learned that a lot from like people in the chat, like Luke, Luke's Points and Miles. Like, it's insane what kind of value you can get with the right bookings. So for me, no interest in focusing solely on cashback cards. And I'm surprised nobody's mentioned this yet, maybe because of the slight delay. But I do have a cashback solely, like I have a sole cashback card in my setup right now that I talk about like all the time, and that's the City Custom Cash. And you would be correct in saying that right now, that is a sole cashback credit card, because I don't have anything that allows me to transfer those points out. But it is in my in-game like strategy to eventually get the City Premier card. I'll wait until the Strata cards come out, see if either of those are worth applying for. And then eventually I do want to transfer those points out to travel partners. I haven't cashed out any of my City points, and I don't have that many because I only spend it on gas every month. So really just a welcome bonus and, maybe a few thousand extra points. But yeah, so I have no interest in focusing solely on cashback yet. I think Stan, the Credit Frog, has the setup that I would like to have in the future for cashback, and that would honestly be with Bank of America. I know it's such a weird one to like maybe just throw out there randomly since I've never talked about them, but their setup whenever you're in their preferred rewards program, is like the preferred honors tier and all that stuff. Once you're in those tiers and you're getting a 75% boost on all of your points in cashback form, I would love to have that, like at least a couple of their cards, and then maybe throw in like the custom cash. I don't know. Cashback is so exciting. And maybe I should spoil this here. Should I spoil this here? Okay. I guess I will. But I know y'all just saw that I had a video with RJ Financial on my channel as a midweek upload. He's actually coming back again for a third time. And we're going to go through a ideal cashback credit card setup for like every category. Basically, you've seen probably him do it on his channel before, but I love the idea of building a really solid cashback setup. So I had him back on for a third time, and we'll be airing that on the channel at some point in the future. And I think we came up with a pretty solid setup, so be excited for that. Jake asking about RJ's March Madness credit card series. I did watch that. Yep. I don't think I necessarily watched I think I missed like one or two of them in the middle, but I did watch like the round of 64, and I watched the last two at least. But yeah, a round of 16, I guess is what it was for his, or whatever it was. But yeah, I love that series. I think it's awesome. Cashback setups are, like, just speaking on RJ in general, I think, like I said, they're like the most fun to build out, but that's just because you can get them from any lender and like maximize, try to get 5x in every category. But that's not in my plans right now. I'm a travel focused guy right now. As for that City Elite card I just mentioned, or the City Strata Elite, I think that one, I'm hoping that one will be like the old Prestige card or like better. City usually finds a way to fumble the bag a little bit. I do love their cards, like the custom cash, double cash, premier card. That's a great trifecta. But like they do things that annoy me. Like, for example, the fact that they took away the cell phone protection or other MasterCard benefits on the custom cash. I was like, whatever. I don't know what the point of that was. But so, yeah, I hope that it's really good. I imagine that will be their higher tier card, the Elite, and the Strata Premier would just be a rebrand of the City Premier. That'd be my guess. Be their 2 travel cards. So Chase Freedom Rise. Well, I guess while we're on the topic, I think my take on it is that it's going to be a credit builder card. I think I've drank the Kool-Aid on that one. And that'd be my guess, is that it's going to be a credit builder card that basically is either just a straight new card that's a credit builder card, or that it'll be a rebrand of the Chase Slate Edge would be my guess. But I'd love to see them bring out a new card, but Chase is just like they don't necessarily like need to be innovating all the time. It seems like they just kind of stick to their guns, and we keep getting their cards. So I guess, yeah. Let's see here. Oh yeah. So I was still going through his questions. So the next one that Forrest asked was, what store specific credit cards are worth it? I think this one's easy. It does definitely depend on every single person. So I would say that the Amazon Prime cards are going to be the easiest ones for me to recommend, because people get a ton of value out of those cards. Yeah, you're just getting 5% back on Amazon. And like, if you have Amazon Prime already, it's worth it. I think the Costco credit card is great for those that shop at Costco or want to get gas with Costco. People love that card for that purpose. The Target card, I think, is another solid one for those that shop a lot at Target. It just gives you 5x back, to my knowledge. And then the Verizon card is another one that's not necessarily a store card, but a phone bill card. And it actually is like a solid card. And I've seen like Proud Money's always talked about that one. I think Joshua Butler's made some videos on that as well, who's another great creator. Yeah, looks like we're answering about the same things here. Yep. Oh, what's up from Seattle? That's awesome. 32 credit cards. Amex Gold's a favorite card. Yeah, I think that goes for a lot of people. Jersey Mike's on the Amex Gold. I do like some Jersey Mike's. Won't lie to you on that. Let's see here. And then the last question that Forrest asked was when it's okay to put personal spend on business cards. I did kind of already answer this one, to be honest. I don't see any problem with it. Banks are making money from you swiping their cards and using them. So the more money you put on their credit cards, the better for them. They're not going to be looking at every one of your transactions unless you're like doing something insane. But I mean, think about it the other way around. All the time we're putting business expenses on our personal cards. And while their terms might say that you're not supposed to put personal purchases on business cards, the only reason it would ever be illegal is if you wrote off those personal expenses on your tax return. But that's that's like a tax fraud issue. That's not a credit card fraud issue. So my take on it, I've read countless data points on Reddit. I've never heard of anybody getting shut down because of them putting personal purchases on business cards. It doesn't strike me at all as an issue. I was nervous about it at first, but I read enough about it where I'm like, they make money from us either way, so I'm not worried about putting personal expenses on it. I do now. I separate all my cards, like personal and business wise. I don't put any personal on my business cards because I don't need to anymore. I have enough cards to cover all my purchases. But there's not necessarily anything inherently wrong with getting the Blue Business Plus, for example, as your catch-all credit card. So people in the comments will probably give you some answer on that too, but I have no issue with it personally. All right. Next question here is going to come from Chino. And he asks, basically he's saying that he's an aspiring content creator looking to grow his channel. If I could give my best YouTube advice for growing on YouTube, what do I think it would be? It's a great question. I'm going to take a second to drink real quick and let y'all throw some comments in. I think it would be really helpful too, is now that we're coming into the last like 5 or 6 questions here, if y'all could start delineating what questions you have for the live Q&A, or just like start saving them up. And then once I let y'all know when I'm ready for them, you can start putting them in. And maybe just whenever we do eventually put those in, just at me in the comments and I'll be able to see those like pop out easily. So don't do them now, but start saving them up and get them ready. And we'll do that for the last like 30 minutes or so once I get through these. All right. So to answer Chino's question here, I would say, advice for new creators. I have a lot of advice. I think my biggest one would just be to get started. I think that's the biggest thing that stops people. I know that's not for necessarily new creators, but people that are thinking about getting started on YouTube, the biggest advice is just make a video. Just put one out there. My first video, I've unlisted it at this point. I have my second ever video still on my channel, and you can see the quality difference between then and now, and the confidence difference too. So I'd go check that out if you're interested. I'm embarrassed by it, but I don't care if y'all see it. I put it as like more of an inspiration to see where you can eventually come from. But yeah, getting started is the hardest thing. And I literally, my first video, like I was saying, that I unlisted, I pulled out my phone, I put it in front of me, and I recorded for a minute. And I just said like, hi, my name's Spencer. I want to start a YouTube channel. This is why. And I posted it. Nobody saw it. Surprise, surprise. Nobody's going to see your very first videos. I think another big word of advice is that like your first 20 videos are probably going to suck. And that's like in a loving way. I'm saying that. Mine did. And they're still on my channel. But to be fair, while the quality of them sucked, the content of them didn't. So I think it's always important to focus on the content, because those videos are going to be seen by people, especially once you posted 20. Like you have a good backlog there. So you want every video to be as good as possible, but just realize that, me looking back a year ago, those first 20 videos I made compared to my last 20, I'm way more confident in my last 20 than those first 20. So my more advice on that is just like, try to get 1% better with each video. That's been my biggest mantra, and it's cliche, but after I read the Atomic Habits book by James Clear, that was like the one thing that really stuck with me. And also, actually, funny enough, my basketball coach in high school always used to say that before that book came out. So I just always inherently had that as something I do, which is why I want to try this live stream. And while it might not be perfect, I hope it's good and that y'all enjoy it. And then I will get 1% better next live stream. But yeah, that'd be my quick advice for just getting started. I think another thing is do not focus on monetization. It's always going to be in the back of everybody's heads that you want to make money from YouTube. I think that's just par for the course now, especially in finance YouTube. But don't get so focused on money that that's all you care about, because you're going to get burnt out. I think I mentioned this at the beginning. I did really want to start the channel for, as a hobby. I wanted to document my journey for y'all in the credit card game. And if that's what your main purpose is, and you I had the 1,000 subscribers in the back of my head, but like I said, it was a year down the line. With that goal in mind, I just made the videos that I thought were valuable, and I didn't care about the success of them. And you'll have some that pop off, you'll have some that do good, and that's, double down on those and just keep getting better. Focus really heavily on your titles and thumbnails, because if you can't get people to click into your videos, then it doesn't matter what you put in them. And then once you get there, focus on your hook, focus on getting people to watch through the end, and then focus on getting people to watch other videos of yours. That'd be my very quick, but hopefully in-depth advice. That was a great question, though. I appreciate you asking that. We're going to keep moving on here. Next question is from Jackson Moore, and they asked, how long did you have your first credit card before getting your second? So I actually pulled the numbers on this. Let me make sure I check my notes to make sure I have it right. First of all, I will say that my recommendation for people is that you wait 6 to 12 months after getting your first credit card to then getting your second one, because you want to be able to build up that credit history basically as much as you can, while you only have one. You also just want to get practice with credit cards in general and learning how to use them correctly. But usually, if you can do that, that's great. Also, I think getting added as an authorized user really early would help you a lot, because then you don't really have to wait that long at all after getting your first credit card, and you could just keep moving because you already have theoretically a 700 something credit score. I did not do that, so I waited that extra length. But for me, I waited 8 to 9 months after getting my Chase Freedom Student to get the Chase Freedom Unlimited. Then I waited 5 months after that, applied for the Chase Sapphire Preferred. And then basically after that, I applied for a card every 3 months or so, basically after I hit the welcome bonus. And that's been my strategy since then, really. And then also always keeping in mind your Chase 524 status, all those rules that you need to keep in mind. But yeah, I would say 6 to 12 months after your first card is the soft rule that everybody throws out there, but you can increase that as time goes on. Hopefully that helps out anybody that's still considering getting their second credit card real quick. I love to see all these questions coming in. Like I said, like Cedric, I see you in here as well. I will be answering, and Bimmer, I see your questions as well. I'll be answering those questions in like 5 or 10 minutes. We'll be getting into those. So we're going to get through the rest of the questions that were left on my community poll, and we'll get into yours. All right. Next question here is going to come from Winners Mindsets. And I believe they were in here earlier, actually. But they are asking more on the YouTube side of things. What was my first YouTube paycheck and how much was it? And they wanted to guess between 150 and 200. Why don't you all guess real quick? I'm going to get another drink of water. Y'all guess real quick how much my first YouTube paycheck was. And that's a month's amount of revenue in my first month of being monetized. So back when I had 1,000 subscribers. Leave a couple guesses in here and I'll get into it. 1 cent, 150, $50, 100. These are all some great guesses. So I did pull up the actual stats because I hadn't seen them in a while, and some great guesses in here. So my first YouTube paycheck that I actually got paid out. Actually, hold on, I'm going to leave that for a second. The way that YouTube works is that they pay you out after you hit $100 in AdSense. So if, say, I got, I made $50 in my first month of being monetized, I wouldn't get paid that until the next paycheck after I hit $100 in cumulative amount of money. Right. Yeah, CJ, how much I got paid out. Right. So that's how YouTube works. The first month, I think I got monetized at the very end of a month. And let me make sure I did pull this up as well. So I got monetized in late August. So I did not hit the threshold that month. I started my channel in March, got monetized late August, and then did not hit the $100 threshold. So I didn't get paid out. But in September, I got my first paycheck, and that was $184.46. So it looks like CJ was the closest, which he makes videos, so I guess he knows. Oh, wow. MR just guessed it, and I know y'all are a little bit behind, so he actually was the closest. So sorry, CJ. Tried to give you the crown there, but you know what? But yeah, so it was about $185 was my first paycheck, and that was basically for a month and a week, like 5 weeks of monetization, which was awesome. Like, that's insane for me to be making money from YouTube. Like, like I said, I didn't expect that to even like make a penny from YouTube until like last month of this year would be like my expectation. So to get over $100 was insane. Stan saying CJ always wants to be first, but ends up second a lot. Yeah, man. CJ is always trying to be first to all of our comment sections if you haven't seen that before. And he does it sometimes, but then he gets beat sometimes as well. So I'm messing with each other down there. But yeah, my first paycheck, $185 from YouTube. So it was, a blessing for sure. The next question comes from Jill, and they ask, what is the best first credit card for a young adult without established credit? Man, I could let CJ answer this one all day long. He knows exactly what I'm going to say here. I'm not even going to wait for him to say it because I know what it is. My recommendation for somebody with no established credit at all would have to be, y'all know what it is, the Discover It cashback card. I think it's just a simple one to recommend to people. Yep, CJ got it. The Discover It cashback is like the easiest first card to recommend because Discover is so lenient on letting people get approved for a credit card without any credit history. And my recommendation would be try to get that one. You can see if you're pre-approved for it on their website first. If you're not, maybe go for the secured version. My main recommendation, which I did not implement and I should talk about more, is that I would recommend you get started as an authorized user with one of your parents' credit cards. But I didn't do that. Luckily, Tessa just made it into the chat. She actually did make it, surprising. But when we applied for her card, that was the reason that she was able to jump into the Chase Freedom Unlimited right away, which I do recommend Chase cards early on too, because you want to avoid the Chase 524 rule. But if you're not an authorized user and don't have like an established credit history, Discover is like a really great place to start, in my opinion. So Discover It cashback. If you're not pre-approved for that one, go for the secured version maybe. Or if you're a student, go for a student credit card with the lender you like. I got the Chase Freedom Student, great card. But yeah, young adult, Discover It cashback would be my first recommendation. Yep. Awesome, guys. Go ahead and move on to the next one so we can get into the live questions here before Tessa makes me leave here. So the next question comes from Kay, and this is a fun fact for all of y'all. Kay was the very first person to ever comment on my channel. And that was like way early on. My videos, like I was saying earlier, when they were really bad, she was actually commenting on my videos. So that's awesome to see. And what she asked if I can share what my career is like after graduation, any career goals I may have, and what I want to do YouTube full time if you're not already. So this was that question I was talking about earlier, where I want to get into some of the exciting stuff that's been going on in my life, and something I think that everybody that's still sticking around would love to hear about. But I'll start off with the first question being, what is my career like after graduation and what are my goals? So after I graduated, I did work within the civil engineering field. I got a job right out of school. I actually interned with them for like a year before I graduated. So I ended up working for that company, and it was, the difference from college is just that you have a lot. I'll put it this way. You have a much easier time delineating work and life in a way. Like you have dedicated hours that you're in the office or working. So in that way, it's nice to be able to separate yourself from between the two. But you also have a lot less free time in a weird way. Like you just don't have freedom of your time, which is something that I have a harder time with, because I really like I have aspirational goals for myself. So being like tied to a desk basically for like 9 hours a day is like kind of tough for me. So my goals, honestly, with my career originally were to just, continue moving up within the company I was in. But after a while, I realized that YouTube was really working for me. And I felt like I had like struck something like really that I didn't think I would. And that's kind of what led me to making the decision that I wanted to then set my goal to be, I want to quit my job so I could work on YouTube full time. And since I kind of like made that goal months ago, in advance after I graduated, basically like once I graduated, because I started my channel while I was in college. But once I set that goal, I started saving a bunch of money and saved up to the point where I have about a year's worth of expenses. Since I have like no responsibilities, that's not a ton of money. So what I ended up doing was, about a month ago, wow, that's crazy. A month ago was my last day at my engineering company. So I'm now working on YouTube full time. And that's really exciting. Also somewhat scary, because now I don't have a consistent income. But like y'all are kind of saying in here, like I think that this is a time for me to be able to take a chance on myself. And it's not even much of a risk at this point, because I've saved up the money and I don't have any responsibilities. I don't have kids. I don't have a house. I do have a girlfriend and a dog, but those are like my main responsibilities right now. And I wanted to really take a chance on myself, because I feel like I do have more potential than just being like working in my degree field. So that's a decision I made. And it'll take a little bit to get to the point where the income is, past that, what I was making at an engineering job. But I also like have faith that something that gives me as much purpose as this, and what helps me connect with people that I really want to be connected with, I don't see how it is going to be a bad decision at the end of the day. So that's why like I wanted to do a live stream with y'all today and just talk to y'all about like how thankful I really am for y'all being here. And yeah, y'all are leaving some love in the chat as well. And I really appreciate y'all. Without y'all support, without y'all using my links, without y'all, liking these videos and sharing them with people, like I wouldn't be able to do this. So yeah, while I'm not like a massive creator making millions of dollars a year, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, like this is what I love to do. And if I can just support myself with the money and eventually, save up enough money to support a family, like that's what I care about. So I can't thank y'all enough for being here. And thank y'all for all the congratulations as well. I really appreciate that. But that was the exciting news. And okay, that was a great question. Sorry I had to make y'all wait to hear that until now. But that's why y'all are seeing me post so much content as well now, and like doing a live stream and stuff like that, is because I'm now doing this full time. So that's all thanks to y'all. So that's why I always say I love you guys. It's awesome. But let's see now. That was a great question. Oh man, getting into this is actually the last question here. So y'all get those questions ready for me in the chat. Go ahead and, like I said, hopefully you already like have your questions ready and you're like ready to copy and paste them. But go ahead and @ my name. It should allow you to @ my name and then put your questions in. If that doesn't work, go ahead and just put a bunch of question marks behind it. That way I can just see that if that's a question for me to answer. And I'll get to those in just a second. We'll have like 30 minutes to cover them. So let me get through John's question real quick. John, I'm sorry. Thank you for the congratulations, but I'm sorry to make you wait till this time to answer your question, but here you are. Yeah, John says congrats once again, which thank you so much. He's been a massive supporter of the channel, so I appreciate you. And what you asked is, do you have any hobbies and or side hustles that you're working on in addition to your YouTube channel? So I guess I kind of just answered this in a way. I mean, I definitely have other hobbies, but as for side hustles, I don't have any. YouTube was my side hustle. It took up like all of my extra time outside of work, but now it's my actual hustle, I guess you would say. And that's, I mean, it's just such a blessing. Like, I still can't believe it, but I have no other focus on anything else. The only like other side hustle I kind of do is like bank account churning, which I just had a video with RJ about, if you want to watch that one after this. But yeah, that was like, that's my other like side hustle, I guess. It's just moving money around. But as for other hobbies, I have a bunch, I guess. I mean, well, I'm kind of a loser, I guess, but I don't know. No, I play, I mean, forever I've always played like basketball. I haven't played in a long time, to be honest, but I do like still go to the gym a lot. I work out. I hang out a lot with my dog and my girlfriend. Those would be like my main two hobbies, is just hanging out with them. But yeah, now that I'm working full time on YouTube, I have the luxury of getting to actually go to the gym again, which was something I didn't get to do for like a year because of how much time I was putting into YouTube and work or YouTube and school. So that's like my biggest hobby is probably just like working out and spending time with my girlfriend and my dog. I love being outdoors. So like hiking and stuff, like whenever me and Tessa go on trips, we would like go on a bunch of hikes together, go to some zoos. That's always fun. Well, probably shouldn't have said that. Could be controversial, but whatever. But yeah, just like being outdoors. My friend growing up, we have one of my best friends has a sand volleyball court at his house, like a professional one. And I learned to play at his place, and I love sand volleyball. So fun. That's like another one of my hobbies, swimming and stuff like that. Like I said, I'm kind of out in the country, so we have a lot of just outdoor things that we would do out there. So those would be my other hobbies, and I don't have any side hustles, like I said, really, besides like bank account bonus hunting. And yeah, my YouTube is my main focus. I want to make this a real career, so that's kind of what's going on right now with that. But yeah, looks like we do have some questions rolling in. We're at the point now where I've answered all of the community poll questions, and no matter what, this is going to be a dang long video, even if I cut it up. But let's go ahead. As long as Tessa's not freaking out about me getting to this concert yet, let's go ahead and talk about whatever questions y'all have in the chat. I'd love to see who's still in here. Again, like I said, at me with your questions, add a bunch of question marks after if that doesn't work. And let's get some of those out, and I'll start answering those in the next 30 minutes. Okay. Ooh, we already got a lot. Okay. So from the chess streamer, they ask if I could only have one credit card, which credit card would I choose? Oh God. Man, that's a hard question. I think in the past, my answer has always landed actually on like the City Premier card. Honestly, I think it's a really solid card. I don't talk about it a lot on my channel because, like I said, I don't love everything that City does, but I do really think that card is solid. It has a bunch of 3x earning categories, and you can transfer your points out to travel partners to get that max value. You could also cash out at 1 cent per point just in cash. I think it's a really solid card. I think that'd be my quick answer to that. There's a lot of great ones out there, though. I'm more on the travel side of things once again. Maybe if you're a cashback, you go like Wells Fargo autograph card, Saber One card. But yeah, the City Premier is like one that kind of plays both sides a little bit. Looks like, man, we got a good amount of questions here. Now, the next question is from Tessa, who is, my girlfriend, who is on the channel. So y'all should go watch that video if you haven't. But what she asked, let me go ahead and actually, I can do something kind of cool here. Let's see here. Yeah, look what I can do here. That's pretty sweet. Okay, cool. So that was the question I just answered here. If I can only have one credit card, what would I choose? I said City Premier card, probably be the easiest one for me to answer there. If y'all have other options, y'all can. The Venture X would also be a decent one, but yeah, that'd be my answer for that one. Next question does come from Tessa. Are you going to have any more non-content creators on your channel like your girlfriend? I did have my girlfriend on here once. I think it'd be really cool to do some kind of like series where I interview or, just like talk to people that I know somehow, like, and just normal people that have credit cards and like kind of analyze their setup for them and maybe like give them advice. I think that'd be cool. So yeah, I'd like to have like my friends on and people, whoever could like want to be in front of a camera, I'll put them on maybe in the future, maybe as like some midweek videos. So that's something I have an idea for, but yeah, that's a good question. make money talking about that RJ video for Ultimate Cashback setup. Yeah, I'm excited for that one too. It was a great time. I love talking with RJ. So yeah, I'm glad to have him on for a third time here. I think it's awesome. MR's talking about the gym, never skip leg day. I actually don't, surprisingly. Whether that means that my legs are like actually big, it's a different story. But might not have the cap genes for one, but I do not skip leg day. I know Luke doesn't either if he's still in here. That dude, he's yoked. But Bimmer talking about, looks like picking up hobbies, talking about picking up hobbies. I think it's good to pick some up every time, especially if you're like in a depressed state. Like I've been there before, for sure. And I picked up a lot of hobbies. And honestly, during the pandemic and everything, that's why I got so into credit cards, I think, was because of that. So I completely get that. Looks like John asked a question here. MX Gold or wait to see what the Strata cards are since I'm hitting... Wait, hold on, sorry, I just read that way wrong. MX Gold or wait to see what the Strata cards are since I'm sitting on 30,000 points between my City Custom Cash and Double Cash cards. I mean, at the end of the day, you have a bonus that's already existing and it's already elevated, and then you're speculating on cards that haven't come out yet. This could age really bad if they come out like next week. But yeah, I don't know. I think my whole opinion on it is like, especially with Amex cards where you can only get one of their welcome bonuses ever on their cards, technically, or like within at least like a decade or something. I would go for what the highest bonus is possible. This is a great time to get the gold card. I'm seriously considering adding the platinum card just for the bonus, honestly. I mean, I can get positive value from it, so don't take that out of context. Like I can get positive value from it. And, also I have the luxury of being able to talk about it on the channel, which is obviously a good thing. But I think those 30,000 points between the City Custom Cash and Double Cash, like they're going to still be sitting there. The gold card bonus will not be sitting there. Always. So that'd be my take, is like maybe you do pull the trigger now on the gold card and then you could add the Strata down the line when it actually does come out. But that's up to you at the end of the day. Maybe somebody has a different opinion in here that they can chime in about. Looks like Cliff asks, what credit card company's website or app do I like using the best? Now I talked about it in my video coming out tomorrow. I do really actually enjoy using Max Rewards. I know that they're sponsors for a lot of people's channels, and they're a sponsor of my channel now, luckily, which is a blessing. But like I genuinely have used their products since before I was in the credit card, like before I was in credit card YouTube. And I guess I must have heard it from like Ben Hedges before I got started. But I use Max Rewards for all of my credit card management for the most part. They've had some connection issues lately. They just fixed their Chase and I think their City connectors, because for a while my Chase and City cards wouldn't connect, but as of like the last 2 weeks, they've been connected and they've been working. And it's perfect. Like they activate all of my offers for me on at least my Chase and Amex cards. I think they would do City too, but they weren't connecting for a while, so hopefully now they will. But like I have like 700 offers activated across my cards with their Max Rewards Gold, their paid tier. But I did pay for that also before I was sponsored. So again, I do actually use their product, but that's probably my favorite one. That company that has sponsored the channel recently, Kudos, is another one I actually do genuinely use. They help me pick the right card to use at checkout whenever I'm shopping online, which is a big thing where it's like, you could use a few cards here. So it's nice to always have that. And they also have like I don't know if it's a paid tier necessarily, or if you can like get, well, at least with the free trial, with my promo code, whenever you sign up, you should be able to get this at least for a month or something like that. But you can get like double the rewards whenever you use their software. So I like Kudos as well. Max Rewards and Kudos are like the two that I use mostly. I've heard, things about other companies before, and I haven't used them because they're not as like, they don't sync as well, or they aren't as intuitive. So those are what I use. Next question here from David. I've been eyeing the U.S. Bank Altitude Reserve for a while. What do you think about that card? I heard you no longer need a pre-existing relationship anymore. The Altitude Reserve is a really underrated card. Maybe, I don't know about underrated, but I think it's a really good card. I watched his video on that too, and I commented on that because I was like, dang, this card is like, it's pretty solid. I wouldn't be opposed to getting it. I've considered getting it now since he posted that, but yeah, it seems like you don't necessarily need a pre-existing relationship anymore. Before you like always did with US Bank cards, which is why I've never even thought about it. And I just don't have US Banks near me at all either. But I think it's a really great card. Yeah, if you don't need that pre-existing relationship, I think it's worth it to at least try to pull the trigger on it. Maybe you do open some kind of bank account with them or a brokerage account or whatever, and you can get in that way. But I think it's a solid card and could be used. It reminded me a lot of like the Chase Sapphire Reserve, but through U.S. Bank. So if you're traveling in economy domestically, I think it could be a really solid card. All right, cool, Tessa. I guess I got some more time here. I'm going to keep rolling through these. Got a lot more questions, guys. I appreciate y'all. Marcus asks here, what's the max number of credit cards I think I will get? Oh, God. Like in total, I don't know if there's going to be a cap on how many credit cards I get. How many cards I hold at once, that's another story. I mean, you can see people like maybe not easily, but managing like 30 credit cards, but only a few of those have annual fees. Like I could easily see me getting like 30 credit cards. I think like how many I would actually use though and need, or not even need, how many I would use on a regular basis or at least get positive value from consistently would be like up to like 15 probably. After that, that's probably about it. Like I would need, but I'm always going to be applying for cards for the welcome bonuses because that's just how you get the highest return on spend no matter what. So that'd be my answer there. So make money, looks like you asked a question about this as well. So I'm glad I actually just covered this, but max rewards or card pointers. So I've tried both. I actually genuinely use max rewards. Like I said, they are sponsored of the channel, but they're not watching this video. Promise you that. But yeah, I do use their app more because the nice thing about it is that it like, there's something about card pointers that I did not like. And it was something about like how they didn't actually sync your credit cards. I think that's what it is, especially with the free version. Like you input what cards you have into their system and they tell you what rewards you can get. It's just not as like clean of an app that I've seen. So I like using max rewards because it tells me what card I should use at my current location, what card I could use at a different location, just all that stuff. So I like max rewards more personally, but I think they're both great. Whatever you figure out works best for you, just use that. Jeffrey asking if I got that Chime bonus from me and RJ's video. So I actually have not signed up for the Chime bonus yet. I've done other ones. I was kind of alluding to it in the video. I wasn't sure if RJ thought, he didn't think it was my first one because I've talked to him about a few I've done in the past. I think his question was more aimed at like people that haven't gotten it before, any bonuses, but I have not done the Chime personally. I did the one with like Varo Bank. I did one with Fintron, which is another one of those like fintech companies. I've done it for all the actual accounts I've opened with my Novo business account. I did it there. So I've gotten some decent money back, but haven't like gone super hard into the bank account bonus game, mainly because I couldn't change my direct deposit around with my previous employer like easily. But now I can since I'm, getting paid from YouTube and stuff. So maybe I could try it now more. So that's kind of my plan. Thinking about opening like the Amex business savings account soon. So that could be a video I make. Looks like Make Money was talking about how the Chime bonus didn't work. That's interesting. I would suggest leaving a comment on that video because he's had like a ton of people do it. I didn't personally do it, but he's had a ton of people do it. So it should work. But if not, I can actually text him if you leave a comment on that video. And yeah, I'll make sure we take care of that for you, or at least help if we can. Chess Streamer asks, Marriott versus Hilton, which chain do I prefer more? I'd say Hilton between these two. I'm a Hyatt guy at heart. So yeah, I know people they hate me talking about Chase all the time, or like people that do, but like it's genuinely like Hyatt's the easiest chain to get a ton of value from, especially here in like Texas. We have a lot of resorts with Hyatt and like it can get some crazy redemption values. Like I literally did one, me and Tessa did one, like just a weekend trip that I booked like the week of, and I got like 2.5 cents per point. I was like, okay, that's so simple. So I go with Hilton here though before Marriott, just because that's been my experience with other hotels has been with Hiltons. I've heard good things about Marriott, but I feel like Hilton points, like the statuses you can get with them with their credit cards. Like if you give your loyalty to Hilton over any other hotel, I think that's like the way to go in the credit card game, especially with the Aspire card. I'd love to see Hyatt like put out a luxury card. I'd be going for that, but yeah, I'd say Hilton between the two. Next question from Binge. I don't even know if I can show that on the channel. I won't lie to you. I'm going to take that down. He was asking, when you apply for a credit card, does your adrenaline pump and heart starts beating 1,000,000 miles per minute? Feels like you're gambling. That's how I feel. Yeah, I alluded to this earlier in the live. I always get so like nervous during a credit card application. Speaking of, look what I got in the mail, people. Can't show you what's in it, but video will be coming out soon. 2 videos on this card because I got approved for a new card. But it is an Amex card, and some of y'all know about it because we've talked in the comments before. But yeah, I always get nervous for credit card applications. It's fun. I'm not a gambler by any means. I don't partake, but if I'm in Vegas, like for my 21st, I did. But yeah, I'm not like a sports bettor or anything like that. But yeah, I always feel like I get the adrenaline pumping. Drink some more water real quick. This will be the next question, though. Oh, which airline group do you redeem points with usually? SkyTeam, One World, or Star Alliance? I know Chad just made a really good breakdown on all of these alliances. I was less familiar with them. I know also Mark Reese just made a video talking about how you can get to Europe with alliances. So personally, I haven't yet. This year I'm planning on doing it. I have not booked any trips internationally with my points yet. I think that's true. Yeah, because I've always taken like family trips since like until probably this year. So I haven't actually. I did go to Cancun last year, but we did not book it with points. I booked that one. Well, I did with Southwest, and that's not part of any of these alliances. But I'm in Texas, so that's just like a domestic trip basically. And we paid for the hotel with my Amex Gold to hit the bonus. So take that for what it's worth. But yeah, so I guess I haven't been within any of these alliances yet, to be honest with you. But I'm looking to like really dive into that on my channel hard soon, or just like in general in my life. And I want to share that process with y'all. Luke's a great resource for that. Luke's Points and Miles. I think I would mostly use either like Delta or United miles because I have so many Chase or Amex points. So that would be what? So like Star Alliance and SkyTeam. Honestly, I can't remember who's in what. But yeah, probably use like some kind of United or Delta points for these alliances. Chat Streamer asked another question. Favorite airline to fly? I've alluded to it. I travel a lot with Southwest, just domestically. I don't know if maybe I've flown on Delta like once, but I have enough points where I want to try out a bunch of different airlines. I think United's one that might be slept on a little bit because you can get some great redemption value with those points. And they have credit cards that can help you get more statuses and stuff like that with them. But I haven't really done much with that. The points who I've accumulated the most of and transferred out are Chase, and that's to Southwest for airlines, but that's domestic. And like I said, I'm getting like maybe like 1.5 cents per point with those. And I haven't done a ton of trips in points that way. But that's like, I guess, my favorite airline to fly right now. Domestically, it's just like the only option that I can even give you right now. But I'm looking forward to like really testing out some international business class flights, domestic business class flights. So yeah, CJ, I know I've only flown Delta like once. Dude, I don't know. I mean, like I've been accumulating points for so long that I'm like, this year I want to take so many trips now that I'm full time. I literally just like never had the time to travel until now. So like I want to go visit as many people as I can. Maybe film some in-person creator conversations videos. I think that's like the next move that I really want to do. It looks like MR was saying, great backdoor tip, city thank you points transfer to Aero Mexico, which you can book Delta flights with. That's interesting. Yeah, I haven't gone that route yet since I don't have the city premiere, but it's good to know. Matt said, just got back, so not sure if you answered this yet, but Dream Point redemption trip. So yeah, Matt, I did answer that actually a couple of times. I think you were the first to ask that, but for whatever reason, I've always said Australia. I think I'd really like to go to like Greece while I'm young as well. Me and Luke were talking about that earlier. London, I've always wanted to go to for whatever reason. So like those are like my main ones. I think Japan would be cool as well. Going to Rome, like Italy would be awesome. So once again, very generic answer to that question, but those are like some of my favorite places or not favorite because I've never been, but my favorite choices for places I'd like to go. Jeffrey asks, what is next after your Venture X application? Well, I guess I'll show this again, but looks like I did get me another card after the Venture X already because, well, I won't tell you why, because I have to make a video on it and I want y'all to actually watch the video and enjoy it without feeling like you already heard the answer. So I got this card because of a purchase. I'll just put it that way. It's very generic. After that, I'm actually planning on adding another Amex card soon that I have not even talked about on my channel. You'll actually see it in this video tomorrow, including this card. What am I saying? I'm telling y'all what this card is tomorrow in the video, but I guess whatever. I'll tell you now since there's not as many people in here. This is the Amex Amazon Prime business card. It's a really heavy envelope here, but that was the card that I applied for next because I needed to buy actually the studio light. I didn't need to, but I bought the studio light now that I'm full time and I want to dive more into making the experience better for y'all. So that's why I got that card. So yeah, that would be next. I'm new to the credit card game. Any advice for newbies like me? Currently have Saver One, Navy Federal Cash Rewards, Navy Federal More Rewards, and Amex Platinum. Uh-oh, look who's here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Odin's in the house. Saver One, Navy Federal Credit. Jesus, dude. So I think it's awesome that if you're in the armed forces or in the military in any regard, you get your annual fees wiped, and you can also get, become a part of NFCU and these other credit unions a lot easier. But so my advice for anybody like new starting out, it's different whenever you don't have any annual fees you're paying for while you're in services. First of all, thank you for your service if I didn't say that already, because that's amazing. But my advice to anybody, technically I wouldn't necessarily Saver One, Never Federal Credit. So I think to a degree you have to somewhat understand what your goals are in the credit card game. If you want to be straight travel or straight cashback, you want to know that up front, at least in a way. You can always transition a little bit. That's why I always focus on getting transferable currencies. For example, Chase's Ultimate Rewards points, Amex membership rewards points, Citi Thank You points, Capital One miles, because I know that I can transfer those points out in the future to get a ton of value from them. And specifically with Chase's points and Citi's Thank You points, you can redeem those for cash back at 1 cent per point, which makes them a really good cashback and travel hybrid if you don't know exactly what you want yet. So my goal or my advice would be to kind of understand what cards you do want in the future. And I actually did just make a video about how to pick your next credit card. And I think that helps people kind of decide at least where you want to kind of go next. And once you ask yourself those questions, you can kind of figure out where to go from there. But yeah, I would focus on transferable currencies early on because you don't know exactly maybe what you want to do yet. But JJ asked the next question. Do I own any Hilton card or want any? I do not have a Hilton card yet, but as you'll see in the video tomorrow, I do plan on adding, eventually maybe I add all 3 of the Hilton cards just for the welcome bonuses at least. I could see the Surpass card being a keeper card because it's, $95 annual fee and you get a free night, pretty sure, every year. So like I said earlier, I think if you're getting a free night with any of your credit cards, like hotel credit cards, it makes them all keepers for the most part because as long as you can get positive value from them and want to still travel. So that'd kind of be my end game, maybe have the Surpass. But I think I want to get all the cards for the welcome bonuses at least at some point maybe. So also have to keep in mind the Amex 5 credit card limit. So adding all 3 when I already have 2 of their credit cards. I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening. But yeah, I definitely could see myself serving a little bit of loyalty to them. I do like Hyatt the most still though. So. Oh man, I'm still so far. Y'all are so far ahead of me now. Jeez. What is my opinion from the Joker? What's your opinion on investment credit cards, Schwab, Fidelity, Morgan Stanley? So it all depends on what your goals are. Once again, all these answers could be it depends. So sorry for being annoying about that. But the Fidelity card I think is great if you just want to do straight cash back and then, invest all the points you earn into your Fidelity accounts. I think that's great. Same goes for Morgan Stanley and Charles Schwab. I know Stan the Credit Frog has a great series on the Morgan Stanley version of the Platinum card. And, I think that's great for the right individual. I know it's a little bit harder for you now to get that card. But as for the Schwab card, that's an in-game setup card for me because I want, again, like I was talking about with the transferable currencies, I want the ability to be able to transfer out to travel partners, but also redeem for a good cashback rate. The Charles Schwab Platinum card gives you the ability to cash out your Amex membership rewards points at 1.1 cents per point. That is a big selling point for it. So yeah, that would be my advice there. Like, really, if you can get any cards with, depending on what you like to invest in or who you like to invest with, you can get cards with those lenders if it fits your setup. But yeah, that'd be my opinion. The Charles Schwab Amex Platinum is going to be, I think, an in-game card for me. So looks like Chess Streamer asked another question. Are you picking up the Hyatt Chase or credit cards? God, I would love to. I'd love to. I just wish that they would bring a better bonus on those cards, man. I don't know. I want the Hyatt personal card. I'm above 524 right now with the I'm at 524 with the Venture X now. So I'm not like dying for any of their cards, obviously, or I wouldn't have done that. I think it was Luke that just applied for the Hyatt business card, and I think that card's great. Like, it is, for what it's worth, you're getting a good bonus on it, and you can just test out if you'll get positive value from it or not. But I just can't. Yeah, it just hurts. Like CJ saying, I just can't like apply for that card with that low of a welcome bonus when I don't need a free night right now. Like, that's the main pull of that card. The personal Hyatt card is getting a free night. So yeah, once it brings a better bonus, I might be like more willing to lower my 524 status. But for now, I'm just like, I'll get the cards that I really, really want and that have good bonuses. And my 524 status shouldn't be any higher than like 6 or 624 probably by the end of the year. So having my thoughts there. Let's see. Question from Paula. Currently hold Marriott bond list and want to grab the IHG just for the sub to use on my next year travel plans, but World of Hyatt is also a card that I want. How many hotel cards is too many? That's an interesting question. I've alluded to this again multiple times, though. If you are, say, all 3 of these cards that you want give you a free night every year. Now you know that you have 3 different, or it could be 1 trip, but assume you're going to be taking 3 different trips or staying at 3 different hotels every year for at least 1 night. If you're going to already do that and you're getting positive value from those credits, those free night credits on those cards, then it doesn't matter how many hotel cards you have. If you're going to take 10, stay at 10 different hotels a year and you want 1 free night with each of them, get 10 different hotel cards. But so I don't think there's too many. You can always get them for the bonus and then downgrade after a year. And, even if you can't downgrade it, but you want to get it for the bonus, you could always cancel it as long as it's not like your oldest credit card. Never recommend doing that. But, you don't have to there's no limit on how many credit cards you can get in general. You just want to make sure that you're getting positive value from them at least for a year. And if not, just make sure that they have a good downgrade option, or you can cancel them without really hurting your credit score. The points guy versus upgraded points. Which website is better? Well, to be honest, they all kind of share very similar news in my opinion. I like the Doctor of Credit a lot too for actual breaking news. In fact, the points guy is great for point valuations and stuff like that. That's where I find myself coming back to him all the time. But they've all kind of been bought out by bigger companies, and they all kind of push the same content. So that's why I love being on YouTube, because even if we're pushing similar content as creators, we all have our own spin on it and our own opinions. You don't see that as much on the blogs anymore, I feel like, because so they're being paid by somebody else to put out the content. So we're getting paid by our own fruition, basically. So I guess the points guy out of here is who I use more of, but I've used the upgraded points for certain niche questions that I have. But yeah. Here we go. John asked a question. Do you plan to add any airline cards to your setup eventually? And how do you feel about airline cards? So, yeah, I can see myself adding airline cards. Southwest is, again, the domestic partner I travel with the most. I could add their cards for their companion pass, get the personal and business cards within the same year, get the companion pass. I've considered that. Like I said, I think United has some sneaky good cards if you want some status with them and stuff. The Delta cards are obviously very popular. Maybe I get the Delta Reserve or one of their business cards or something like that if I want some Delta points. But yeah, I'm not opposed to hotel cards at all. I think airline cards. I think that they're great. It's the same kind of idea with hotel cards. It's most airline cards are probably going to come with an annual fee. So see which ones that you are going to be like, yeah, I'm going to at least fly with, for example, for me, I'm going to at least fly with Southwest once a year. So if I get basically enough to give me a free flight back every single year, then it's worth it. It's a keeper card. So it just depends on your travel habits. And I just haven't gotten any yet because I'm still trying to build out just like a more core foundation. And I don't, hotel and airline cards I feel like are just to give you better status and stuff like that, which I'm not like dying for yet. But I probably will. So not opposed. Money Sal, I just got the Chase Freedom Unlimited, Flex, and CSP within the last 4 months. Should I apply for the custom cash card or wait? I know City's pretty dang inquiry sensitive, at least from what I've heard. Maybe somebody in here give you a better answer, but I'd probably wait at least like 3 months between you applying for like another card. I can't remember how long I waited. The Venture X, I was lucky because I added business cards between them, and that's a Capital One card, of course, but they're also inquiry sensitive. But I waited 6 months between my personal card applications since I added 2 business cards in the meantime. And that was easy for me to, not like get denied with them because I didn't have any recent inquiries. But I know that, yeah, City's a little bit inquiry sensitive, and it sounds like you built out the Chase Trifecta pretty dang quick, which is awesome. But once you get like too many too quick, lenders start to get hesitant. So it might be worth waiting like a few months. Maybe somebody else will give you a better answer though. I'd look up data points on Reddit though. That's where I always go, dude. It's like Reddit has all the answers. If you just type in the question you want and then add Reddit to the end, you'll find your answer. Okay, let's see. Oh, looks like Tony got back. What was that, like 20 minutes ago? Wow, I'm behind on this. Does Chase Binge asked, Chase, does Chase allow you to get approved for their cards when you're 27, 24 like he is? Chase has been weird lately with their 524 status. I think they loosen it a bit whenever they have a new elevated welcome offer out because they want people to get into their cards. But no, not everybody's getting approved like that. I think it's weird. Like they have some kind of soft targeting system in their system. So like if they target you for an offer specifically, then yeah, you can get approved however many 24 you're at. But for the majority of people, you might be able to skate by. If you're okay with getting a hard inquiry, might as well try. But just go into it understanding that you likely will get one. So that'd be my advice there. Yeah, it looks like it is about 5 o'clock, but I have not gotten a text yet, so we're gonna keep rolling. Best international airline credit card program. Oof, that's a good question. I would default to like Luke's channel for this one, for example. International airline credit card program. I mean, I guess you could use like if you're saying like Chase has like the British Airways card. I know British Airways is popular. Ben Head just talks a lot about those cards because he gets a lot of value from them. I haven't personally had an experience with these, so I can't speak on it in a great deal. So I'd probably default this to somebody else. I'd be willing to do the research on it at some point, but somebody else might give a better answer. Let's see. Questions. Credit score of 716. Should I start with the Amex Everyday card or the Gold card? First time applying for American Express. Depends on what your current card setup is. The Amex Gold does not have a good downgrade path, so you don't want to add it like super early on. The Amex Everyday card could be better. I'd probably argue the Blue Cash Everyday is the better choice, though. I'm not as familiar with just the regular Everyday. The Blue Cash Everyday is definitely a beginner card compared to the Gold card, and it's easier to get value from because it's a cashback card. It's like what you're going to get, no annual fee. So depends on your current setup, though. I think the Gold card's a no-brainer for a lot of people, but you don't want to add it super early because you want to be able to downgrade it in the future if you need to. All right. I answered this a little bit ago. I do plan on getting Bank of America cards if I switch to a full cashback setup, but not right now. The BBP and Amex Gold, I think it's a great 2-card setup if you're mainly spending money on food and miscellaneous purchases like me. So I think it's a great duo. Eventually you can add in a luxury travel card or like some other cards to supplement it, but I think it's a solid duo. Anthony, you highlight people's names by adding them, I think. Or at least, I think that's maybe only highlight my name because I'm the host or whatever. Oh, yeah. CJ answered that. Favorite no annual fee credit card right now? Ooh, God, it was always the Chase Freedom Unlimited because it's just easy to recommend to people. And it's what I got started with pretty early on. I think the Custom Cash is probably my favorite right now, though. Well, actually, the Built MasterCard is probably, I think it is the best no annual fee credit card right now, but I do not have it. So out of the cards I have, the Custom Cash is probably like the in-game card that I'll keep using. Oh, you asked that. Yeah, I do plan on adding the Built MasterCard once I move rentals. That'd be my goal there. What should I do? Over 524 and I'm going to get the Amex Gold card. Yeah, I think it's just important to roadmap out. Like if you want Chase cards, you don't want to add a ton of credit cards in the beginning because then you're going to lock yourself out for a couple of years. So I would apply for as many business cards as you can to garden your 524 status since those don't add to your 524 count. That'd be my recommendation if that's something you can do. The gold card's still a great card. It has a great bonus right now, so I don't knock you for getting it. I actually did the same thing. I think it put me at 524 when I got it, but you have to just know when you'll be falling back under 524 and plan accordingly. I talked about Chase 524. Any big trips planned for 2024? I had one planned for this year that I was supposed to be going to Europe and going to like Prague, Vienna, I think a couple other places as well, but I can't remember right now. But yeah, that one has not come to fruition yet. So hopefully something like that happens. That's why I got the Venture X, was to be able to have those luxury benefits, but haven't got that yet. Make sure that I'm good to keep going here for a little bit. And then, okay, cool. So let's see. Index fund investor, do I pick stocks? As of right now, like in my Roth, I just go index funds. I used to try to pick stocks here and there, but like now I just don't put enough time to it. So I have a few individuals, but I mainly go just broad market index. Pretty aggressive, but still index. Best credit card for EV charging. Isn't the Amex Blue Cash every day? Doesn't that give you 3x back on EV charging? I have to ask old Anthony Venture in here about that because he has a Tesla himself. But I think that card gives you 3x on EV. Maybe like I think the Wells Fargo autograph might give you that too. It could be crazy. But yeah, those would be my initial recommendations. Oh yeah, God, I need to keep reading down. Anthony already answered that for you. The autograph, yeah. Let's see. Favorite basketball move. Oof. Dude, I had a nice whenever I played in like high school and college, I had a nice like in and out cross, nice and simple. Little hezzy too, but those are like my main go-tos. I played like point guard, shooting guard, kind of hybrid. So anything I could use like a hezzy to like maybe pretend like I'm about to shoot was kind of nice. So that was probably my favorite. A Euro step, yeah. I did do some Euro steps more in college actually than high school, but yeah. Let's see here. My least favorite transferable points currency. I haven't even got to use like cities yet. I've seen Capital Ones. Capital Ones is more like I would use it in combination with my Chase and Amex points. So maybe I would say Capital One has like the least appeal because they don't have like hotels really. So I guess that maybe Capital One would be my least favorite. Man, I'm trying to get through these. There's so many. Favorite credit card creator, can include yourself. I think it might not be a surprise. Daniel Braun's somebody that I've been like a really big fan of for a while, and I think that he's been making a ton of moves in the credit card space and personal finance. So he'd probably be my favorite, like just to watch before I even got into credit cards. All right, let's see here. Looks like we're getting towards the end. Let's go. Let's see. Oh my God, I thought I was done. It keeps going. Is it true Chase has relaxed 524? Kind of touched on that. I think it's more of like a soft offering thing. Like it's not reduced for everybody. But yeah. So it's not necessarily relaxed, but I guess like in a way it is. It's just not for, don't think that like if you do it that you're also going to be targeted for that. Let's see. I do want to make more videos on this, Oscar, transferring points out to travel partners. Like I said, this year I plan on traveling a lot more, so that's going to be some videos I make. let's see here. Just got the Discover It student in January. Saver one about 2 weeks ago. Think about applying for the Chase Freedom student, but don't know when. I personally probably wouldn't even go for the Chase Freedom student if you already have Discover It student. You have the Saver one, Discover It student. I would probably go straight for the Chase Freedom Unlimited rather than going for the student version next. And I'd, maybe wait. Once your score's like in the 700s and you have some decent credit history behind you, Chase's cards are easier to get approved for. So that'd probably be my suggestion there. Maybe somebody would disagree, but you don't need 2 student credit cards. That'd be my advice. How many countries have I been to? Oof. I've been to Canada, Mexico, Honduras, Belize, the Cayman Islands, which is technically like part of the UK in a way. Yeah, like 5 or so, 6, maybe. Something like that. So not a ton. I want to travel a lot more, and that's why this trip to Europe was supposed to be so exciting, but I don't know if it'll happen. Just got the night for the CSP 2 weeks ago. How long should I wait to apply for the CFU? Another great question. I think it's kind of what I just said again. Like if your credit score is like in the 700s and you have some decent credit history behind you, like usually after like 6 to 12 months after having that first credit card, like you should be able to get approved for those beginner credit cards. Maybe the CSP was like too high of a step up if you don't have like high limit cards already, because you do have to have like a minimum $5,000 credit limit on that card. So maybe that's why they denied you. You could also, that probably be my recommendation is maybe wait like a few months, like 3 months, and see if you can reapply. If you have like above a 700 credit score and like no other recent hard inquiries, probably my suggestion. I'm gonna have to get through like a couple more here. I think Tessa's about to pull up. So Alex, I can't touch on this necessarily as much. This is a good question for anybody in the comments. Is the diamond status with the Aspire card worth it when you already have gold status with Hilton? I mean, the Aspire card gives you a lot more than just diamond status. So that'd be my answer is like, if you want the card for more than just the status, this card's like a no-brainer. Like it's one of the most powerful cards, especially it's the most powerful hotel credit card. But if you need to make sure you get positive value from it. So if you don't care about the status that upgrade that much, just know it's not the only thing that might sway you to get the Aspire. Jeffrey, I think I answered this comment earlier. I appreciate you wanting to use my referral link, but it should be in the description of all of my videos that I've talked about the Venture X. So that goes for all my videos too, y'all. I talked about this earlier. Like that is a massive way to support the channel with no additional cost to you is by using my links. So I really appreciate y'all if you do use those. It's in the description of this live stream too, Jeffrey. So hopefully you see that. But yeah, I really appreciate y'all doing that. It helps me do this full time, like I said, I'm doing now. So it's awesome. Would I recommend any other credit cards? The Venture X and Amex Gold. That's a solid duo. I talked about that in my videos. I mean, yeah, I think you could have a lot of other credit cards besides just those two, but those two serve a really good purpose. I think the custom cash might be a great fit in there. It's one of those that's easy to add into any setup. Gives you 5x cash back on your highest eligible spend category. So yeah, I think it's a great card. But yeah, I mean, you might want to throw in some Chase cards too if you're under 524, if you want to get a lot of credit cards. But if you don't care for many, then maybe those two fit you fine. But I think some no annual fee cards are good to add to your setup just to have because they need to age with you, So that'd be my suggestion. How's the Venture X working for you so far? I love it. Yeah, I mean, I use it for all my purchases, for miscellaneous purchases right now. I'm looking to use the annual travel credit maybe to Vegas whenever I go for the creator meetup. I think that'd be a great time. I might have some other trips that I'll use that credit for. So not like massive positive value yet since I just got it and haven't taken any trips with it, but I expect even just like the lounge access and stuff will be awesome. So I'm excited for it. Hit the like button, everyone. See, this is the comment we needed right here. I appreciate you, Scooter. Let's see. Which app do I use for my Roth IRA and personal banking? I use Chase's checking account for banking. I use Ally for my high yield savings because it gives me like 4% APY. And then I use Fidelity for my Roth and all my retirement accounts. All right. Marriott Brilliant versus Hilton Aspire. I would say Hilton Aspire because like I said, it's like the most valuable hotel credit card out there. The Brilliant can give you a lot of value, but you have to really love Marriott. Hilton is like, the Hilton Aspire is good. Just like if you even want, like I said, like one trip a year with Hilton, you can get positive value from it with that free night. So I think it's like the easier one to suggest because it also has a lower annual fee, right? I'm not crazy about that. So I would say Hilton Aspire. And personally, that's just because I like their properties also more. And I think most of the credit community would be in accordance with that. So that would be my suggestion. I think that's perfect timing. I think Tessa's about to walk in here. So I got through all the questions. That's insane. Okay. It looks like still, yeah, looks like maybe some questions are still rolling in, but I really, really, really appreciate y'all even sticking through. Like, it's crazy that we still have like 70 people here right now after I've been going live for 2 hours. Like, that's wild. I can't say how much I appreciate y'all. 5,000 subscribers is no small feat. Like, that's a lot of people that have joined this community, and I'm looking forward to continuing to grow it. But thank y'all for being so supportive. Thank y'all for being in the comment sections every week. Thank y'all for spending your Saturday with me. I'm going to have to go hit this concert with my girlfriend now. I'm really glad y'all enjoyed this live stream. Like I said, I'll be cutting it up, putting it on my channel. It'll also be on the live stream shelf. So like, I see that some people might have just joined. And I did answer all of y'all's questions from the community post. So make sure you go back and either watch that through the live video that'll get uploaded soon, or whenever I cut this up and put it as a midweek, watch it there too. It won't be, like I'm saying a lot, I'm saying I'm doing all that stuff. So this is more of a very conversational. So it won't be as highly edited as my normal videos when I do cut it down, but I just want to put it out there for people that might not want to sift through all of this. So we'll add chapters and everything to that video as well. So what question did you have, One Bridge? I'll answer it real quick before I leave. I honestly didn't see one. I didn't mean to skip you. Ask me your one question before we say goodbye. I don't want to let you miss out. But yeah, once again, while that last question is being asked, I just thank y'all so much for being here. And I'm looking forward to a bunch of future growth with y'all. And I don't forget who's been here since the beginning. So yeah, like I said, some people in here have been, like Kay was in here earlier. She was the first commenter on my entire channel. So like these things mean a lot to me. But yeah, thank you guys once again for everything. And yeah, I'll give you like 10 more seconds, One Bridge. I did not see your question come through though. Oh yeah, that one might've been asked while I was talking at the very beginning. What I think about the Elon Financial Services credit cards. I don't know much about that, to be honest with you. So I'm glad I made you wait for that one. Yes, this is live, but I am about to head off here. But yeah, the Elon Financial Services, I've heard things about them, but I can't remember if they were good or bad, to be honest with you. So I might check Reddit for that one too, or maybe ask in some of these Discords you might be a part of, like the credit community Discord with Daniel Braun and Mark Plymale is a great resource. Maybe ask in there. And this last question, this is the last question, guys. Would you consider Aspire to be a suitable Amex Trifecta piece? I think yes. Yeah, it's a really, really solid card that gives you a ton of value. So if you don't want like the Platinum card, the Aspire card could fit in a much better place. It's easier to get value from. So, Elon is basically U.S. Bank, same thing as the Cash Plus. Interesting. So would y'all, Luke and Stan, would y'all say it's worthwhile to look at? I honestly just don't know enough about it, but that's why I like this community a lot. Same thing as the Cash Plus. So probably a rotating category card for like cash back. It probably is still worth it. Yeah, Elon's affiliated with U.S. Bank. Oh, so sounds like Luke has one. So yeah, Luke is the whisperer of credit cards here. So 5% on entertainment and sports tickets. So yeah, I mean, it could be a great card. Any card is worth it as long as it doesn't have like a massive annual fee, or you can get value from that massive annual fee. Any credit card can be worth it for you. Just don't go with Credit One cards. I don't think that's a hot take. Don't go with their cards. That's awesome to see. I appreciate the super chat here. That means a lot. That really means a lot, JJ. So thank you. Really appreciate that, guys. Yeah, the support y'all shown is insane. And yeah, I just can't say thank y'all enough. But yeah, y'all, Tessa's about to pull up. I'm going to have to go now and get to this concert, but I appreciate y'all staying here with me once again. We'll do more of these in the future, but get excited for this video to be cut up and put on a shorter form video. I have this card that I will be applying for. I think the video will come out this week. Have another creator conversations coming out next Sunday with a creator I'm a big fan of. And then, yeah, I'll have some unboxing videos coming out. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a great rest of the year. I'm doing this full time now, thanks to y'all. So this is like a dream come true. And I hope y'all are going to keep enjoying all the content I put out and keep putting a lot of effort into it. So I appreciate y'all being here once again. I will do another one of these soon. Love you guys. Thank you for joining. I'll talk to y'all later.